This is Rocket League and this is SSA. It is Championship Sunday. We will crown a champion today. Will it be a new champion or will Limitless with Snowy be a triple crown winner? And that would make Snowy equal the world record for triple crowns, Muzz. And that would be an accomplishment if he were able to do it.
Yeah, of course. Between that whole team there, Greybeard, they all deserve it. And they're already going to Copenhagen. So this is a little bit of just a treat, I suppose. The cherry on top of their already successful cake, isn't it?
Well, they had a day off yesterday, and now they got to come and defend their title. And Bromeo, I don't know. What are your? I mean, we've had lots of conversations about Snowy, with Snowy. They're a determined bunch, are Snowy and Limitless, and so you would expect them to come out today, all guns blazing. But maybe there might be a crack of complacency that could be exploited, and maybe there's an upset and a surprise.
Well, no, definitely. I do think that Limitless will come out guns blazing. They want to secure that bag. But it must be said, this regional, we saw them drop a couple more games than we're used to. So could this be, a little bit of changing of the things? We've seen Sweaty, who's been absolutely amazing this time around. And if he carries on in his form, I think Limitless are going to be very, very, very hard to stop.
All right, and I am inclined to agree with that. And before we go too much further, I think we should not be remiss in mentioning that it is the birthday today of of Bromeo here on the desk with us. So, Bromeo, a happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much. I'm getting old. Thank you for reminding me.
Okay, cool. Well, so we've had Swiss. 16 teams came into Friday. Well, let's not forget, it was 94 teams that started last weekend. That was whittled down to 16 who arrived on Friday. Only 7, as it happened, turned out for the quarterfinals yesterday, and now 4 teams remain. And there's the bracket, and it is a EU and SSA affair, and I think this is a good point. I would like to raise an issue of terminology, because we've referred to the non-SSA teams as import teams, and that's fair enough. But I think it's fair enough to call Next an import team, because they have flown out, have been living in Reunion for a few months now in preparation for this. And those that are playing based in EU on the high ping, perhaps a better term for them is remote players. Muzz, I don't know how you feel. I think it's a distinction to me that makes sense.
Yeah. And I mean, I think we've also had these conversations. If you're going to bother to come out to SSA and play on, kind of more local servers, then good for you. You get the backing of SSA. And maybe if you're sitting very comfortably at home in your chairs and couches, then we kind of we'll call you the remote players and distance players of SSA RLCS. So.
Distance players, long distance learning. All right. Well, you saw the bracket today, and the matches are going to be broadcast in a reverse order here, which is from the bottom, really. So our first match is going to be Bonjour versus Limitless, and this is a banger of a matchup, and I feel like a team on the ascendancy. They didn't have a great open qualifier number 1, a little bit better in the 2, but they've kind of haven't seemed to have found themselves. But my word, they've performed well this qualifier.
I agree. Bonjour has definitely shaken off a little bit of that rust. And I've got to say it from the outset, Cam has been incredible this split. He's topping all of the charts currently in goals, assists, saves, and he's literally the only one in the top 10 saves who's still in contention, which means that he's saving the decisive goals, not the goals that are already out of their way. So I think that Cam and Skill Steel and Wilu have been playing, the best Rocket League they have so far together as a roster. And people are going to be very quick to say, well, Limitless make finals. I wouldn't be so sure. If Cam continues the form that he has been showing this split, I think that this result is going to be a little bit closer. Given the fact that Mongolia has taken a few games off Limitless, Limitless are looking a lot more human, more vulnerable than they have in a long time. And if I were Bonjour, I would definitely be fancying my chances.
All right, well, I'm going to stick with you, Bromeo, for the moment, because you've highlighted Cams and much was said about him yesterday, and deservedly so. Because when he is that guy, he's fantastic for his team, and they just look so much stronger. But if we zoom out a little bit, I mean, we have 4 teams, 12 players coming out to do battle today, and given your view of who's done what and where things are. Outside of Cams, who you've already highlighted, who are the other big performers for you over the course of this qualifier coming into Grand Final Championship Sunday?
Okay, so first of all, I've got to say, Lecram on next Aquavites, he has been incredible. He has got the highest conversion ratio of any other player in the competition. He scores nearly one out of every 2 shots he takes. And look, it takes a team to accomplish that. But then you look at his teammates. Gizzo is a 3rd on the assists list. They're playing with such synergy, such what is the word? The word is that they're playing like a well-oiled machine. And a couple of other players that stand out. Sweaty, of course, he's really stepped up. He was very quiet in the 1st and 2nd. But now in the 3rd, he has come out, and I am expecting to see a lot of him today. And another call that must go out to Jono, because he has been incredible with the demos, and he's really assisted Lecram in scoring all of those goals. And the same must be said for Biochu on Astronic. He is just behind Lecram in the amount of goals he's scored. But that, again, must be put through to Mario, because he is heading up the stats tables for assists. So there are so many players playing incredibly good Rocket League at the moment, and it's only fitting that these gentlemen are at the top of their relative stat boards, because that is why they deserve to be here. Those are the numbers we expect from somebody playing finals Rocket League. So we truly are in for a treat today, whether it's Limitless, Bonjour, or NXT and Astronic. I think that both games are going to be exceptionally high quality.
All right. Well, we often make the comment that Limitless do always seem to find the gear they need in order to succeed. Even when they start off shakily, we saw the 2 initial games against Mongolia, and they managed to they do what they need to do to win. And certainly Bonjour are going to have to find a new level, a new gear in order to threaten that formidable Limitless team. So, and that is going to be our first match of the day. And there comes up the team comparison and how these look side to side. And the one daunting stat, Muzz, is always that win rate. Whenever we see team comparisons with Limitless, we see Limitless at 87%, 88, 90, sometimes as high as 95%. So it's hard to escape the attention.
Yeah, definitely difficult there. But, then we could take a look at Bonjour, and now saves, a little bit more there. But, of course, Limitless are probably not always having to make saves, being the powerhouse that they are. And even the demos there as well, incredibly close between the 2 sides. And that's a kind of workhorse attitude that we've seen Bromeo say here, is that everyone between Skillstill, Cams, and Willu are all getting on the field and putting in that work. And so it's incredibly, it's good to see. Maybe if there was any time someone was going to upset the apple cart here, it would probably be Bonjour, right? But I think that kind of linchpin is going to be Cam, right? So if Limitless find a way to get rid of Cam, whether it's through the bumps or the demos, and you can kind of pull him away from obviously the plans that Bonjour have for themselves, and that might just be able to kind of unsettle them a bit, because he's obviously been doing so incredibly well moving forward and being a defensive powerhouse.
And in the South African context, or the SSA context, I mean, you look at Bonjour's stats, and they are formidable, and those stats are good enough to get through just about every team. And you would expect that from a top 4 team, top 3, arguably maybe in and around a top 2 team. But to have stats that are that good, it's tough when you're coming up against the stats you see on the other side of Limitless. Cam's Bromeo, who you have already highlighted, 1.12 goals per game is fantastic, but coming up against the 1.4 of To Die For, that's the extra gear, the extra notch, the extra burst of speed they got to find.
100%. And the one stat that they're not showing here is demos. And I think that gives a much better reflection of how Limitless is planning to play today. And Limitless averages 4 demos on average per game, right? And Sweaty is currently getting 2.5 of those.
Sure.
And so he is playing some incredibly hectic Rocket League at the moment. Let's not discount To Die For. He has been hitting up the top of the stats charts for score, and he is as involved as he's ever been. And so this comparison between To Die For and Weelu, as unflattering as it reads, isn't a true reflection on how this game is going to pan out. And I honestly think it's going to come down to who wants this more.
Yeah, and I wonder about the conversations that go on, because I mean, these guys know each other. I mean, Cam has been playing. Cam is a former teammate of To Die For. Cam knows, and in fact, Cam wasn't that far away from being on the Limitless team instead of Sweaty. That was a conversation that was in play. So they know these players, and they've scrimmed, they've played so often, and you almost go, what drives those conversations in terms of like, guys, how do we beat them? What are Limitless doing that we can't be better than? Muzz, and it's hard for me to describe, because we see them play, but it's not like that. Surely we can find a way to beat them.
It's so difficult, right, Greybeard, we know, because we kind of see all 3 of these players incredibly fast at what they do. So if you make any mistakes at the back, they're going to pounce. You've got now Sweaty and To Die For, probably some of the quickest players within SSA. Now imagine your third is Snowy. That just says it all, right? He already has so many assists there. I think, Bromo, you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's about top 4 in assists of kind of how the weekend's gone, right? And that also shows you kind of that role and maybe where Snowy's stepping back to right now. He's saying, I've got Sweaty, I've got To Die For. Let me be the IGL here. Let me just send ball forward. Let me make sure it's clean. Let me rotate back. Let me be that third man. I don't got to have to do too much because I've got both Sweaty and To Die For in front of me. It's working so incredibly well for Limitless. And if you do need a third man to come in and be clutch, you've got Snowy. Who else is better, right? All the world of experience, basically one of the best players within SSA consistently for the last 5 years. Doesn't get better than that.
All right, well, let's get into predictions, and let's start with the chat prediction. We're going to open up the chat vote now. Who takes first semi-final? Will it be Limitless? Will it be Bonjour? Hashtag LMT. Hashtag Bonj. BONJ. Who you believe will take it? And it wouldn't surprise me to see Bonjour getting the better of the vote here. And I think that comes down to, as much as we're all very, very proud of Limitless and their continued victory, there is a desire, I think, in the community, like, we need to crown a new champion. Someone's got to be able to do it. So we'll see how that chat vote pans out. But let's get into our predictions. Bromeo, I'm going to crack it off with you. Limitless or Bonjour?
I'm going to put a spanner in the works. As much as the smart money is on Limitless, I am going Bonjour today. Cam has been playing some incredible Rocket League. They deserve a final.
All right, so the upset for the Bromeo, Muzz.
Yes, Bromeo, I love the fact that you've done that, because I think we can't have just a sweep across the desk. I think it's that heart versus the brain situation here, Greybeard. I want to say Bonjour, but I need to say Limitless. It goes to Game 7. Give me Limitless, but, deep down somewhere, I think I want Bonjour. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if you had both gone Limitless, I was going to go with Bonjour for that very reason. Is that I feel like today is a day. Limitless have secured the major. They're already going. They're just here for a bit of extra spending money, some jam money. So I would have gone with them, but I do think the stats say it's going to be Limitless, and we see there 72% for Limitless to win from the chat vote. I didn't think it would be as high as that, and it makes sense. That is probably reflects who the favorite is here. But we're ready to get underway. This is Championship Sunday, the first of 2 semifinals, then a grand final. We are 3 series away from crowning our champion.
And Championship Sunday in SSA has a familiar face to them. Limitless already being here, being the dominators of the region. For how long can they keep it up? They've got Bonjour nipping at the heels here, boy.
Yeah, you can see already they were trying to push up and had a nice little shot on the net, but unfortunately not able to bang that thing home. And I'm going to be interested to see how this thing plays out. I think someone might need to check in on our birthday boy, though. Championship Sunday and betting against Limitless. Not sure if that's the play, but you can see they're coming here and they're playing, though. It's going to be Cam punches it home first.
Not sure if that's the play. Ooh, Cam tends to disagree with you. Cheeky little double tap underneath Snowy. It's a perfect start for Bonjour, who of course are looking at the upset of all upsets in SSA.
Talking about a really good start here, and then even off this kickoff, it's going to be Cam getting the control in the air. It's going to be left to dive for to get the save and sends it towards the side, but not going to be able to get the clear. Actually, it's going to be Wailue going to be able to get a second touch. It's going to be a center, but no one there to drill things home. Already committed towards the rotation back. As you can see, Cam now moving the ball forward. That's going to be a pinch forward, but does go towards the corner for safety. And with that touch from to dive for to Sweaty, the passing play is coming out to try and see if they can buy themselves some space and get things set up down on the offensive side.
No such luck just yet for Limitless, who are a bit stumped and surprised by that aggressive start from Bonjour. Limitless, a team that, you know, regularly is not really looking at their opponent. They just look at their own playstyle and trying to make that work no matter the opponent. Sweaty certainly doing just that.
Over 2, leaving the pass for the dive for, caught Cam sneaking up just a little bit too much. Ain't no one in that net, buddy. It's all tied up at 1.
All tied up. Limitless shook themselves a tiny bit, got back in the game, and are now fresh as ever. But still, Bonjour, after yet another kickoff, are pressing. Great demo from to die for, trying to alleviate a follow-up. That was certainly going to come down the pike here from Bonjour. Wailue up high from the reunion knees, but he will not find anyone. Sweaty in the other hand is found by Snowy, and that shot brilliantly saved away by Cam.
Beautiful save here, but the question is, can you see if you can set up offense? Because this is a very quick trip down on the other side. You can see Sweaty follow it up. Snowy going to be able to get control. It's going to be a pass off the back wall. Was looking for it to dive for. I think it came from left to right there, but unable to make the connection. Demo's going to at least buy some space, but to dive for it, being a nuisance up here in this corner, making sure that this rotation out is delayed, and an additional shot from Sweaty. Snowy able to get up and contest things in the 50. This is the type of pressure that we're used to seeing from Limitless, really suffocating them before they even get to midfield.
Suffocating them right now is Bonjour, though. Limitless is struggling to get it out of their own half. Skill Seal rotating in. Can't get it past it to die for. Backboard well controlled and well defended by Limitless. And now Snow with a bit of space on that left flank. Gets it past two, gets it back down middle. Where's Sweaty? There he is, but he is a tiny bit too slow. Skill Seal does get his car in the way.
Double commit there on that one from Limitless. Leaves only one left and back, and you can see Sweaty ain't worried about it. Still rises up to be able to get the 50 and gets it back toward mid. Skill Steal with the second touchdown and gonna hit the woodwork. Gonna be left in front of their net though, and Cam playing it out of the corner, looking for a center. No one there. Big clear back to midfield where Bonjour already sitting. Follow up. Gonna come in from Skill Steal. That goes just a bit wide.
Just goes a bit wide, but that chance from Skill Steal, that sort of free double tap, you have to score that, especially against Limitless, where you won't get that many quality looks on target. Still equalized with about 100 seconds left on the clock, and Cam booting that one forward. There's interference being run. Skillsy has another shot, but he can't get it past the last defender of Limitless. The defense holding firm against a Bonjour that is certainly trying to use their opportunity on a weekend where they play exceptionally well.
Yeah, they've been playing absolutely relentless here. You can see a bump that's going to at least try and get a little bit of additional kind of room on that front side. Everyone else been able to get back that boost and get ready to move forward into the zone. Over on the Limitless side, though, they're just now kind of getting some big pads. They're going to be getting out of their zone with Tadai for in the air. Passing down to Snowy, who's going to garner the control off the side wall. Two players on the back wall to be able to make the play here for Bonjour. Now you got to try and get out of your zone as well, which they're going to be able to at least get to that midfield, but You can see again to die for in the Limitless squad. Their defensive rotations allow them to keep that pressure down right now. It seems like they've kind of flipped the script here in the last minute or so, and they're really helping with the pressure.
It's really helping them, but still, although they do keep the ball deep in the opposing half, it's not that they can get too much anger and too much threat on that orange net just yet. There's a demo from Snowy. It's gonna make things awkward for the defense. Snowy again, pass to where Sweaty comes in a tiny bit late again, just peppering the backboard time and time again, but no one from Limitless in a position to follow up quickly and efficiently. No dangerous shot at the Bonjour net.
It's the final 20 seconds here in game number 1. The pressure's been down here on this Bonjour side, and they're going to be able to get the release valve is down the opposite way. Was an opportunity for a shot, but gets sent aside from Limitless, trying to get out of their zone here in the final 10 seconds. 5 seconds left of the clock. Is Cam going to be able to rise up and at least meet with a little resistance? Pass over to die for. That's a miss. Ball touches down, and we're going overtime in game number 1.
Our first game of the day, setting the standard of Championship Sunday with an overtime. Already high pressure situation coming down for both Bonjour and Limitless, and now Skillsealer tries to the shot past Snowy, but the veteran will not leave that one to go through. Instead, trying to turn it around immediately with his own counterattack. Limitless caught a bit on the back foot here at the start of the OT.
Not able to get much going here, but they also haven't really allowed much as far as them getting into the zone in their own right down on that Bonjour side. Nice play from Snowy. Wait, did that go off a hood here from Bonjour? Let's watch off the replay. I think you can see coming up here from Sweaty passing down. No, that's actually just right off the side, and Willu puts it into his own net. Not like this.
Unfortunate scenes. Willu just pushed up a tiny bit too far, didn't get back in time, and although Snow was credited with the goal in the end, very much an own goal to settle affairs, but in a game 1Q that has been exceptionally close, where Bonjour, they came out swinging.
Yeah, they definitely came out here and show that they can kind of go blow for blow with, the region's best, but now the question becomes, how do you respond to the unfortunate mishap that did cause this thing to end in game number 1? Because you were right there, and to have you knock it into your own net, the question is, can you come out and get that first one on the board on the opposite side, or does Limitless come out and punish you some more?
Well, that punishment from Limitless is sort of, sometimes it feels like that's not something that you have direct, really anything to say over. It's just coming down the pike whether you want to or not. The question is, can Bonjour delay that punishment enough? And honestly, in this opening phase of game 1, they have delayed that punishment. They were really strong, and they had good looks in regulation as well to make it 2-1 in their favor. I remember Skillseed's double tap where he just had oodles and oodles of time, maybe even a bit too much time. That's something, that composure, definitely something that Bonjour has to work on going forward in game 2.
Well, let's see if Bonjour can get themselves a nice little bounce back in game number 2 here. Already back out on the pitch. Our players ready to go. Looks like Limitless going to be able to get the control up off the kickoff. Going to be Snowy looking for a pass across to the die for. Not going to be able to make the connection, and this is going to be an opportunity for Bonjour to flip the field. But Sweaty doing a good job jumping in, taking the cookies, and now going the opposite way with it here, Mox.
Going the opposite way. Skillseed looking for a demo. Not able to find one, but to die for's shot. Not dangerous anyway for the Bonjour defenders. Trying to neutralize the game once more, trying to establish some control. There's a bump on to die for, nearly resulting in a goal. Cam only shooting at Snowy and not past him.
Still here, going to push the ball up for Bonjour. Now going to probably look for a bump, but not going to be able to find it. It's going to be Snowy. Now clearing the ball the opposite way. Really, this is going to be the last one back. You saw Snowy was trying to find a bump down there on that goal line to buy some space. As the ball now going to come back into that defensive end here for Limitless to die for. Pushing this thing up towards the midfield line. Couple touches, but the ball is still going forward for Limitless, which allows Snowy to get the possession here. But you see rising up to the skies is Cam, and able to shut that down quick.
Cam shuts it down in the first instant, but second ball still coming around. Still, Cam stands as the fortress in the back for Bonjour. Snowy keeping on the pressure, so is Sweaty. Going down, but Willu already there on the backboard. Crucially gets a second touch there. Bar Snowy, now it's a 1v1. Willu versus to die for. Can Willu get the flick? No, he cannot. To die for. He comes forward, he closes the angle.
Talk about closing angles. Here's Cam closing in on this one again. If you would have gotten that third touch closer off of that to die for hood, he could have been potentially looking for someone there in the middle. But you can see doing a good job on these 50s, keeping the ball down here, rising up his Cam one touch. Sweaty going to be able to get a big old clear. Everyone forward for Bonjour. Gotta wonder if you can get this second touch, but Wheelu, a good job on the clear. Big booming touches from side to side, but is Bonjour able to push on in, able to get this one here from Cam, but now going to actually see Snowy rising up. Second touch, possibly looking for a pass. Cam can't be there, but the defense on either side really not letting either offense get anything going.
Defense just very stable at the moment, and it's going to take something spectacular to get it past and into the net to dive for. Diving to get that out of the corner. Snowy going across there a bit too eagerly, nearly punished for it, but in the end, shot not powerful enough. And still with zero boost, Snowy just drives forward, relentlessly pushing that ball downfield, buying space and time for his teammates to get back, get boost, and get into position. Great work by Snowy. With zero boost, he doesn't need any.
Yeah, didn't need any there, but we did see starting to run low on the opposite side. We do see a big old demo here, which creates all the space in the world. You see Wheelu gonna come across there. It's gonna be skill steal with no one in the net to even try and make an attempt at it. And Bonjour gonna be on the board first.
Bonjour on the board first, and we do have a tiny little pause here, but it doesn't matter, of course. Whew. 1 goal scored in favor of Bonjour with that demolition as well, and then I think it was Cam disconnecting or just having to leave the match, or for some reason. We'll try to get it resolved shortly. But Q, out of the first 1.5 games, did this series meet your expectations thus far?
So I'll be honest, I figured if this was going to be close, I figured it was going to be off of the fact that Bonjour was going to be able to keep up with the pace from Limitless on the scoreboard, and the fact that we're going to be seeing a high-scoring festivity. But instead, it's been the defenses on either side that's really have stepped up, and I think that's probably what I would say has surprised me the most. How about you, Mark?
I feel like the defenses being as stable as they are is a bit surprising. Not so much for Limitless, but more for Bonjour, who really didn't have that sort of stability in the prior 2 regionals. So to see them having it figured out, basically, is giving me hope that the other teams are slowly but surely trying to catch up and catching up to Limitless in those new formations, in those new rosters. I am still surprised that Bonjour is able to make it this close, because the level of gameplay is quite fast, right? Where this is usually Limitless's standard, and Bonjour's like, yeah, okay, we can play at that too. We don't care.
Yeah, usually you kind of see, like, I feel like we've kind of seen from Mongolia when they find their success against Limitless. It's not so much about trying to match the pace, but finding the holes on the opposition, whereas Bonjour here is just like, you know what? We'll play at your pace, and we'll even try and see if we can beat it. And, I mean, in game 2 so far, they find themselves a success. They're up by 1, and they're playing with them in game number 1. So let's get back to it. We've got all 6 players in. We got to find ourselves who's moving on to the championship.
Gonna find out. That goal, of course, is standing, as it was a Bonjour player having to deal with a disconnect. So still 1-0 in the favor of Bonjour. Might be a second one. Skill steal. Not able to reach Wheelu's pass just about here. Snowy able to get the ball away from danger.
But he's doing a good job with that contest, even a second time, being a nuisance around that midfield, but a bump from Wheelu is going to get some extra space for Bonjour. I think it was even a second bump in the back of the nest. I mean, just really being a bully all the way down the field. One bump, and then a second one on to dive for his Cam, just going to be able to punch that in. I mean, just bully boying the opposition from one side of the field to the other.
Wheelu is not having any further opposition to any goal-scoring opportunities for Bonjour. And to die for has felt his wrath, and now the wrath has been felt by Snowy. Bonjour pulling out all the stops.
Hi, hello, how you doing? Bonjour is shown up here to play, and again, it's the demolitions, the aggression that is really allowing them to disrupt this back line here of Limitless. Now up by 3 with just 1 minute and 25 left to play.
And suddenly, a 1-goal deficit rises and grows to 3-goal-1, but Snowy's gonna make sure, or at least he tried to make sure, that it's gonna be reduced ceiling shot defended on the goal line by Willu. But Sweaty is going to have another look at target skills, darting up high to his level and meeting him confidently.
Pass up the Snowy, wide open net, and that's too easy. That's a thing of beauty as well. We see the big old pass here from the dive for up the field. Nobody in the net. That's just so, looks so beautiful.
No one left in the net. A backflip there on the ground as well. And there comes the fight back from Limitless. This is going to be enough though. Willu with the carry. And Willu with the goal. 3-goal lead reinstated.
You can see Willu here said, no, for real. We want this 3-goal lead in game number 2. I see your goal. Respondia and Razia won here. 4-1 for Bonjour in game number 2, trying to make a statement heading towards rubber match.
Certainly trying to say to Limitless, look, you've been able to avoid us the entire split basically, but you can't avoid us no more. We have been waiting and preparing for this matchup. You can see the preparation paying off for Bonjour. It's heroic goal line stops and then counters that are played to perfection.
And they are just, putting together the perfect game plan here. This is a couple of times that we've seen just no opposition being able to be met by Limitless by a perfectly timed counter. Bonjour really putting together an impressive game here in game number 2.
And it's another bump again on the counterattack from Willu to open up, to get Snowy away from the ball and to open up the space for his team. As the reunionees on the sides of Bonjour are certainly going to do a lot of work here in game 2 to get a Bonjour that victory, to get a Bonjour all square in this series.
See those last couple seconds going to come up off the clock, and it's official. Bonjour going to tie things up. But you know, Mock, there's 2 things that are usually pretty usual in the SSA region. It's Limitless dominating, and then when you do catch Limitless off guard, that sometimes awakens the beast here. So 5-1 for Bonjour. You see a lot on that scoreboard, a lot of those bars in favor of Bonjour. The thing I'm going to be looking for is the response from Limitless here in game number 3.
Well, the bear has certainly been poked, hasn't it? With that sort of performance from Bonjour, especially Willu. It's just, this game really was all about Willu. 64 ball touches, more than anyone else, more than about 66% more than both his teammates combined. It was on the ball and off the ball, pretty much the Willu show that opened the way. And considering that on the desk, the guys talked a lot about Cam being that, one player that has a really, really hot weekend. It's great to see the entire team of Bonjour stepping up to his level.
I love seeing the teamwork making the dream work. I think the big thing that I really love seeing, there aren't very many teams in this region that will come out here and really be willing to punch Limitless in the mouth. We saw time and time again on those replays, whether it's the bumps, the demos, saying that, hey, we're here to play. We aren't worried about the big bad wolf of SSA. We're here to try and go toe-to-toe with you.
And there's no fear of failure. There's no fear, or there's nothing of being scared here for Bonjour. And that's exactly how you have to play against someone that has been that dominant as Limitless have been. You just have to show that supreme confidence. You can't fail. You can only win. And Bonjour is showing this exact mentality.
Dive forward here, going to send things deep into the Bonjour territory, allowing Cam to get things in the corner after this squad rotates back. It's going to be a bump from Sweaty, a contest here as well from the dive forward, sends this thing pretty well straight across the midfield line. And again, it's the response from Limitless that I'm looking for, but Bonjour taking it right to him here early, spending a lot of time down here on this blue half of the pitch in the first opening 30 seconds. Shot though from Snowy, going a bit right over the defender, and it's Limitless on the board first.
Limitless for the first time scored the opening goal, and it's a bit too passive here on the rotation back from Bonjour. There was an attempt at a bump on Snowy that didn't connect, and then Skill Seal just a deer in the headlights on the goal line. If Snowy plays that shot anywhere past him, well, he's not going to get to it, and Snowy just did exactly that. Limitless up by 1 and maybe up by 2. To die for looking in the center, finding his mate Snowy, and the longest standing SSA duo show their chemistry.
And of course, naturally, as much as I talk about Bonjour being able to start setting up and showing things to Limitless here in game number 3, it's them not only finding the 1, but then off the kickoff, able to make sure Bonjour does not get out of their defensive half, and then finding a second.
Finding a second. Limitless, well, you said it. It's one thing beating Limitless in the game, but another thing beating them when the beast has been awakened, and it certainly seems that their coach Noxus found the right words in between game 2 and game 3, because this start has been nothing else but explosive for Limitless.
Now here it's going to be denied for, able to get out of the zone. We saw them able to avoid a close one, though. That demo almost bought the space for the shot down on the opposite side. Cam now going to try and see if they can get things set up, but to die for, sitting all the way back on that rotation, able to keep things going forward. Skill steal, 1 touch. Second touch going to be a center across, looking for Cam on the shot, not going to be able to connect. However, a second shot going to come in from Weelu. That's going to get saved. You can see sending their body up in the air as Cam looking for a potential pass to the middle, but Snowy stepping up big on defense. Big opportunity for a counter here, but you can see garnered by Bonjour.
Snowy stepping up big here, defensively, especially in this series. But now Willu is on demo hunt again. He doesn't need to connect. Cam, though, immediately is hunted from behind. Sweaty in the end, getting the interception. No halving of the deficit here for Bonjour. Instead, they have to be careful. Snowy with the carry to die for, taking control of the ball in midfield, just having a cheeky lob at target. It's going to easily defend it away. Still, the pressure remains for Limitless.
See, back into the Limitless territory, but only briefly, as it's going to be Snowy looking for a shot. Double commit on the save. Can you possibly make him pay? No, a second save comes in here as well. It's going to send things deep. Back into that Limitless territory. Cam going to push up, shot on the target. Snowy sends it aside, and it's going to be even still one more time. Playing aggressive here. Going to be trying to Mr. Steal your girl, trying to see if they can get the steal, but at least keeps the pressure down for Bonjour. Snowy looking to try and get the clear. You got to find somewhere to get the pressure valve released, and they at least get it to midfield.
He's getting to midfield, but in midfield already Bonjour is right and tested, and they are waiting, and once more they are looking for those bumps on the goal line. No connection here, otherwise that would have been the first goal of Bonjour. And now Cam looking down, a 2v1, but dealing with it beautifully.
Faking, big shot here, though, going to be from Cam coming on in, and big old save sent aside, but still Bonjour off the response here, past the skill steal, bang, and they cut this lead in half.
Cutting the lead in half. Cam looking for to die for Annette, but in the end he didn't need to, because Skill Steal is the quickest man on the pitch. And about 100 seconds to go, only 1 goal in it. Bonjour claim their return in game number 3.
All left to Sweaty here off that demo, able to get the save, but not much in the tank to be able to get things out of here, which allows Skill Steal to be able to get the 1. Second touch, looking for the pass and the opportunity, but a big old clear coming in from Limitless. That allows them to kind of regain the control as far as on their boost, get things back into the tank. As you can see, moving back forward here is Bonjour. Shot from Cam to die for, rising up. Everybody in the air, if you might be able to get here, is Weelu looking for a pass to Cam, and that's gonna find the back of the net, and Bonjour ties things up at 2.
Bonjour ties things up, and Bonjour always looking for the infield pass. Don't go for a shot if you don't have the angle certain. And that infield pass, once more, great execution on the side of Bonjour, and great calmness in the face of having to come back a 2-goal deficit against Limitless.
70 seconds left on the clock now, 65 here. Who's going to be able to strike gold next? It feels like if you might be able to get it done before that 60 seconds expires. I think there's only time for 1 here. Shot opportunity coming across from Cam. That's going to be a save from Sweaty. Now looking for a big old clear to die for. Is going to try and chase that down, but Weelu able to get the touch back towards the midfield sort of area, but up high is Sweaty looking for the opportunity. Not going to be able to keep control.
Unable to keep in control, but that bounce is not going to serve. Not going to favor Willu, and 1 sneaks through at the back post. 1 misread is all that it takes.
You can see everyone there. No one able to get a nose on it. Touches just off. Weelu, the 1 misread, and Limitless back in the lead. 38 seconds for Bonjour to try and tie things back up.
38 seconds and a good kickoff. Cam already skybound. Cam looking for the demo to die for is gone. But Sweaty is still on the ground and gets the ball out of Limitless's own half. Snowy to continue their efforts forward. No pass option. Has to go for the Doomsday Dish. Gets it past one. But Willu is too thick. He cannot be bullied away.
Hey, yo, Skillsteel now going to be moving up here back towards that midfield line and going to just try and see one last opportunity. You can't let this thing get out of your zone. You've only got the 6 seconds left. But Snowy with the play, taking the cookies. No one there. If you can try and punch this home, one for the road. Instead, the ball falls just short on the goal line, and Limitless take game number 3.
A comeback was attempted by Bonjour, but in the end, thwarted by Snowy and Limitless. 3-2 in a titanic fight of Game 3, and in a series that is already one of the best we've seen this entire split. Both teams coming to play.
An absolute banger here. Even though Limitless might have already secured their spots, Bonjour wants to prove a point and obviously secure themselves some more points here. They've gone blow for blow, but unfortunately through games they do stand down 1-2. But with as close as things have been, and we saw that scoreboard out shooting their opposition, it feels like they're right there here, Mark.
They certainly are. I mean, it was, if my maths is correct, about 13 shots to 7 in favor of Bonjour. Just the clinicality at the end, missing a tiny bit from Bonjour. Yeah. They've tried again with the demolitions. They tried again with the bump plays. The problem with that strategy is we've seen sort of its success and its downfall. Its success in Game 2 and a bit of its downfall in Game 3, where it's so high risk, right? High risk, high reward. But if you don't get that bump, suddenly now 2 players from you are out of position. Limitless certainly knows how to punish that.
Limitless gonna win the kickoff here, looking for a quick opportunity is to die for. Trying to see if they can flip the pitch and flip the script here as we looking for a look on up. Skillsteel gonna be able to turn around, punch that thing home, and it's only 11 seconds into game number 4, and Bonjour gonna be up.
Unlucky from Sweaty, that toucher to his own back line. Certainly not what he would have wanted. Skillsteel just because you're gonna chaperone it in for an early lead, and sometimes you just don't need a demo. Sometimes just one touch that goes awry is all that it needs. Cam way too passive, and Cam's passiveness allows Snowy's equalizer.
Oh man, this thing bounces once. I thought maybe might have had someone turn around and get this thing knocked out, but enough momentum behind it from Snowy. Bar down not once, but I think twice, and the equalizer comes just as quick as they fell in the deficit.
I feel like Cam has read Graybeard's shirt, which says "Namaste" out of it, because it seems like he just really didn't want to challenge that in the midfield at all.
He unfortunately kind of paid the piper for it there, and it's gonna be Skillsteel here though. The double tap, punching it home, back for Bonjour, back in the lead here in game number 4.
Ooh. Sometimes you just need a little bit of the game luck to go your way, and I feel like the opening 30 seconds showing that for Bonjour. One accidental assist by Sweaty, fortuitous double tap for Skillsy with the opponent, with Snowy. Yeah, sometimes things just go your way, and that's also, if you want to be Limitless, that's one of the things that you need, that you have nothing, you can't go without. You can't beat Limitless without some things going your way. But can Bonjour grasp the opportunity, grasp the full extent of this opportunity? Snowy and Sweaty clamping down on midfield, but there is Cam already to keep up the pressure. Limitless scrambling back.
Some call it lucky, some say you gotta make your own luck. We can see Bonjour really playing all full force forward, not being afraid to take it here to Limitless, and is now Limitless in the offensive zone, trying to see if they can garner this or gather this control and get things going. Snowy, one touch to get over the midfielder, second pass going to be towards the middle for Sweaty, going to be looking towards the corner to make a play towards the net, getting the bump on Uilu, but nobody there to be able to punch things home.
Nobody there, and Limitless ripping a page out of Bonjour's book, looking to harass the last defender. Unfortunately for them, to die for, not able to make contact, and a loose ball in the center is going to be brought on target by Skillsy. That shot turned away by the aforementioned to die for. as the game is calming down just a tiny bit. Both teams know, of course, what's at stake. Know, of course, that there's still a regional victory and a little bit of money on the line, and they certainly are playing for it. Skill Steal, double commit with his teammate, but gets a great second chance. It's going to be awkward to read. Snowy has the read nonetheless.
Sweaty gonna rise up with the second one, keeps this push alive. Snowy, one touch off the backboard, set up for to die for, punches it home, and we're all tied up at 2.
All square once more. Cam tries with the read, but he will not get it, and then Skillsian will lose no chance to get to that shot from to die for. Limitless down, but not out. Show fight, show bite and grit to claw themselves into this series and into this game 4.
For the touchdown, not going to be able to find it. Now Bonjour going to have to retreat back. The defense is Limitless, moves the ball forward. We though has an opportunity. Snowy's going to be able to send it towards the side. Now going to rise up, gathers the control, trying to move it forward to die for, lurking in the shadows to get this opportunity here. But Cam says, nah, not today, homie. But Sweaty tries to keep the offensive prowess going here for Limitless. You can see guns blazing. Not going to be able to find anything as far as shots of production.
Nothing found for Limitless, and now Bonjour's turn once more to die for. Taking it to the side as a demo in the background as well, but it will be inconsequential for once as Sweaty carries the ball up high, doesn't get the flick, but he might not need to die for is there. The follow-up completed. The lead is there for Limitless.
I love the save here, but you got 2 people around. Someone's got to get a touch on this ball. Big old bump, though, to be able to keep that thing in front of the net. When the biscuit's in front of the basket for Limitless, it's going to be good eating each and every time.
Good eating, stomach full, and focus on an all-time high for Limitless. Bonjour is really asking a lot of questions. Limitless have seen the test answers, though, as Willu is trying for another double tap. This time Sweaty's got the net defended, but it's not defended for long enough. Cam sneaks one in at the near post.
Killer Cam able to come on down here off the touch to the side from Sweaty. One to get the control, then gonna be able to get up over the opposition, beat him to the ball, and with 90 seconds left on the clock, once again, we are all knotted up on the scoreboard.
You could feel it in the air, the vibe of the series. Next goal could be a very, very influential one, could be the winner. Silver goal territory here in game number 4. Sweaty moving away from the chance, allowing Skill Steal to get a clear out of the Bonjour half.
Pass up the die for here. It's going to be Wailu going to have to try and meet with a little bit of resistance. Gets one touch, but Snowy getting the control.
Oh, no.
Second touch, launches up, 2 bars down. Not going to be able to punch it home. Wheelu going to be able to avoid to die for. Moving on in on that midfield line. Cam tries to follow it up for the clear, but is Limitless getting the control. That's a wide open net. That's Cookies, and Snowy punches it home.
Snowy gets a good 50-50 there against Cam, and then gets the recovery. Skill Steal misjudging how much boost Snowy actually has. 4-3, Limitless with a late lead in game number 4. But can they convert it? Fake kickoff being read by Snowy. Oh no, Sweaty it was, and the goal is to follow.
I'm not sure if the closing minutes is the time to pull off the fake kickoff here. Not against a team like Limitless when they just took the lead and then able to take that 1-goal lead and extend it to 2.
Fake kickoff, a valid strategy, I feel like, but you have to choreograph a better. Skill Steal in the back, just way too obvious that he was waiting for the fake to come through. Unfortunately, if Sweaty's on the kickoff and if anyone from Limitless really is on the kickoff, they're gonna read it, but it might not matter. Cam finds one. Bonjour back within 1.
Hold it. Hold the line. 33 seconds here, and Bonjour gonna be able to close this thing down to 1. You can see able to sneak that thing just by the backside of the defender, and you don't even need a kickoff miracle right now. There is plenty of time to find an equalizer.
Plenty of time, and they're certainly trying to keep the ball within their own lines. That back pass not working out. Willu having to stretch, but stretch indeed he did. for Snowy's shot. 20 seconds to remain. Limitless just have to keep the ball high and away from Bonjour, and Snowy's doing exactly that. That's already half the time evaporated for Bonjour to die for. Not able to put in the dagger.
Now they're going to try and go flip this field. Snowy doing a good job of pushing up. Keeps the ball down on this half. Zeros on the clock. You got to keep this ball in the air if you're Bonjour. Otherwise, you got Limitless taking their third game of the first 4 and moving themselves onto series point.
Series point for Limitless that is pushed once more, but is also able to find once more that higher gear, that higher plane of existence, where they are not making no mistakes, but they're just making less mistakes than their opponents.
And I also want to point out too, this time around a lot closer. I mean, we saw where Bonjour was kind of, pushing up the shot counter kind of compared to Limitless there. Limitless kind of able to meet them at that number there, a little bit more in favor of Limitless on that last time around. And now that it's 3-1, this is going to be where Bonjour opts to take their timeout. I always love to see the teams take the timeout. I just sometimes often think that that third loss is maybe a little bit too late to be trying to pump the brakes.
The problem is, if with the series going the way it is, when should they take the timeout otherwise, right? It's about the timeout, it's about the timing that is really difficult to gauge whether or not to take it immediately after 2-1 down, because a 2-1 deficit isn't too bad, but you sort of know you need to win that game for. It's a difficult position to call the timeout, but now certainly is the right time.
Now the question becomes, if you were in the Bonjour kind of meeting right now in timeout, what do you feel is the strategy, kind of looking at how this series is broken down so far? Because it definitely feels like Bonjour's close, right? What do they got to do to kind of push themselves over that edge?
Well, it's a difficult one, that, because I feel like they're doing all the fundamentals correctly, right? Everything is in place. They are playing up to Limitless's speed. They're making Limitless awkward in defense with all their bumps and with their demos. They are sometimes maybe trying to play a bit too quickly, but I feel like that's a risk they're willing to take, and that's a risk I'm okay with as a neutral observer as well. I would just say it's that when you go forward, you have to make sure that your line of defense, that third man, is always in a position to put in a challenge or to delay as much as both the teammates need to rotate back.
I think the one thing that I do like seeing from Bonjour thus far, even in a 1-3 deficit, often when we see teams try and pump the pace and kind of keep up with Limitless, it feels like if they're able to play with that speed, they aren't able to necessarily play with control. And it does feel like Bonjour at times have been able to have very much control of the pace of the game. Again, it's going to be tough. What's the changes that got to be made here? But let's get into it. Let's see if they can force a game number 6.
Well, what's the changes? That's the problem for Bonjour. Darius, their coach, certainly has got a lot to analyze here in this series. And Bonjour already trying to come off the gate, out of the gates hot, and come out swinging once again. Sweaty, though, for Limitless there as a cherry picker to die for, following this ball himself. Cam has to wait and wait, but he does wait, and he does get a clean touch over a few players of Limitless.
This, though, eventually going to be able to go get this control to dive for up in the air, going coast to coast, but it's Weiloo able to get the save. Sweaty makes sure that this ball doesn't get really outside of the offensive third here for Limitless. You can see playing aggressive and far up forward is Limitless squad, but that means Bonjour has an opportunity to be able to find themselves a counterattack, but thus far in the series, it seems like most of their counters kind of been those long booming clears and trying to chase it down. I feel like you got to try and find some way to get the control out of your zone.
They're certainly trying to boom it, and once more as a big clanging clear from Weiloo. Trying to get a position now is Bonjour, but once more to die for. Breaking through that left flank. As Snow is making it a bit awkward for Sweaty, allowing Bonjour to move up the field, but not for too long. Limitless currently got great pitch control all the time. The positioning just allows them to always have one challenge in them.
Weiloo's going to touch up, pass to Cam. That's going to be a fake, which leaves it right back off for Weiloo. Going to be able to punch it in, and Bonjour going to be on the board first here in game number 5.
That's a great fake from Cam to dive for. Has to respect the touch. He has to wait and get in goal. And once he decided for the in-and-out save, that's when Willu comes back. And that's when Willu will strike. Bonjour find yet another opening goal here in this series. Can they convert it this time?
Gotta find some way to keep this lead going. Gotta find some way to wake up the defense, but it's gonna be, oh, that's actually not gonna be a goal here. Skill steal from left to right out of nowhere like an RKO, able to come in with the save.
And that's the one thing that I said in between the games. Third man has just to make sure to buy enough time, and Cam slowing down the play just enough for Skill Steal to swoop in on the goal line. That's the minute details that need to go right for Bonjour.
And big old boom. Clear down towards the opposition's corner. Willu up in the sky here around the midfield line, able to get up towards Sweaty over one, and Cam able to get this control in the corner. Not going to be able to field it though, and gives things off to Snowy. Passes it off to the dive for, trying to get past this midfield line, and you can see the Bonjour defense doing a really good job slowing down this attack, but they haven't been able to stop it as Snowy has the shot down, and that's an angle that you love to see as Limitless ties things up.
Absolutely superb shot placement from SSA's most senior veteran, bottom right, no one there, and Snowy will equalize here for Limitless.
Now Bonjour only has 2 minutes here to find themselves a goal to re-extend things back out. Remember, they're the ones with their backs against the wall. For Limitless, they're sitting on triple match points, so you've got a little bit of security in the back pocket. Snowy's gonna be able to get a touch on up to dive for. Does a good job on the contest here with that 50, but they gotta find some way to get this ball out of your zone if you're Limitless, because Bonjour doing a good job keeping things in that 50 right now.
Bonjour doing a good job and trying to pressurize and trying to boost staff. Limitless are right here. Problem is Limitless still with enough boost in their tanks and at their disposal. That's the demolition coming through. Sweaty though has a free pass to Snowy, and the two will combine. Old and new, eat your heart out.
You can see Sweaty up here with the pass right over to Snowy. Willu's so close on trying to read that passing lane, but not quite able to get there. And with, what is that, 82 seconds, Bonjour has got to find something quick.
Bonjour needs to find a quick answer here to Limitless. Cam trying, but Snowy already intercepting and interfering so deep in the opponent half. Willu looks for the bump. Skill Steal will just take ball control off him. In the end, Cam just has a cheeky shot on goal, but to die for already in his rightful place.
Able to send that thing just barely towards the side here as we're in our closing minute of game number 5 here as Limitless tries to keep the ball down here in their offensive half, see if they can really keep the opportunities for Bonjour rather limited. But you see Skill Steal, one pass over to Willu, second opportunity, but a double commit on the save.
Double commit on the save is going to open up space, as is that demolition. Sweaty in the air. Snowy already outbound to meet Willu's shot. Skill Steal doesn't have the angle. It's a bit flailing now from Limitless. They're all on low boost. Can Bonjour use this? Looking for the pass. The pass is not accurate enough still, though. Bonjour press forward. Cam has another opportunity. Sweaty reaches up to the skies and gets one save.
You have 12 seconds here if you are Bonjour. This opportunity and maybe one more as long as the ball does not get past the midfield line. Cam gonna try and get the control, leaves it off to Willu. Good job with the 50, moving things back, and it's the control for Limitless. Ball touches the ground, and Limitless move to that grand finals once more.
Limitless book yet another ticket in yet another grand finals. Will they make it a 3-4-3 Bonjour? But certainly they gave them a run for their money.
Not just 3 for 3, but let's not forget that they were able to have the perfect split last time around as far as those regionals. So going potentially just one series away from having 6 championships, 6 first place finishes in a row. This Limitless squad looks so amazing. Bonjour definitely was able to test them at times, but it was in the end Limitless once again proving why they're the best in the region.
Well, if there's going to be an upset today, it's not here, but it looked for a while, guys, like it might be. That was a really, really good series, and for my money, the best I've seen Bonjour look. The last time I saw them look this good was during the off-season Rumble tournament when Guns was still on the roster. They just look so solid and definite candidates for top 2 team in the region. And then when Skill Steel came on, they weren't quite there. They've taken a long time, and I just hope Machtfish in the roster mania of between splits, I want this roster to stay together because I just feel like they can bring fire next split.
I mean, you could sort of see over the development over this split that the pieces were falling into place. They need a bit of time to sort of adjust to one another and get comfortable with one another. But now that they have a game plan and now that they really have an idea of how they want to play the game, they just took Limitless to, yes, they lost 4-1, okay, but they asked everything of Limitless, and most of these games, 1-goal games in favor of Limitless, where their class just shone through. But this Bonjour side does have some serious potential to be unlocked.
One of Limitless have great stamina, and the problem with playing against Limitless is you need stamina yourself, because you can't just have a good game or a good section of a couple of games. You kind of got to be good all the time, and the second game was a good example of that because Bonjour were fantastic. Wheelu in particular, I mean, he lost his mind in that game. He was everywhere in terms of his goal scoring, his defensive work, his reading of the plays, but we need that for we need it for 7 games in a row, or a good portion of them.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of what we've seen from Limitless over the events in history, really. It's easy to, you mentioned, have maybe a good 3 or 4 minutes or even a good game, but I want to make sure that we're giving good credit over to Bonjour. The 4 losses that you took, all of them were 1-goal games. So again, you definitely you had Limitless on the ropes. I don't want the fact that it was a 4-1, especially heading into this off season between splits, to let that sit in the back of the mind as a negative, because it definitely feels like they are like right there.
Well, there has never been a grand final that didn't feature a team of Snowies, and that is not going to change today. And then changing tack slightly, Machtfish, I wanted suddenly out of nowhere, there's a conversation around boost, and in particular the grass boost, because you can't really see it. And I see Cam is already rocking it. I don't even know what is this even a serious conversation?
I feel like it started sort of this week with a lot of pros and NA using it. I wish it wouldn't. Like, I understand, but the sound of the grass boost, the only sound that's more annoying is the rainbow boost. But that sound is jarring to hear in your ear, like constantly as you're trying to think and trying to talk. But for that matter, I hope that it's not. But it is. I feel like it speaks to the state that Rocket League is at the high and very high level, where you want to disguise as much as you can.
Well, when you say the state of okay, no, fair enough. Well, it's made its way here. All right, so that leaves us with semi-final number 1 done. Limitless will be in the grand final once more, and then we have one more semi-final. That, of course, is next. Aqua and Astronic. That's going to be coming up shortly. The driver of the day vote will be opening at 6:00, where you can vote for your driver of the day, who's been your player of the day, and we will announce that after the grand finals. But what a banger. It did feel to me like that series should have gone further, at least 6 games. 7 would have been ideal, but I love the look of Bonjour, and I hope that they will take that into the gap between splits and do the work they need to bring that fire from the very start of split 2. But we have one more semi-final to get through, which we will get to after this break. Championship Sunday is well underway. We are a third through the day. One more semi, then the grand final. Limitless already in it. And that was a great series to watch, Bromeo. You and I were spectators to that. And given your prediction, they looked really good. At least for a game 7, I don't know. At some point, a couple of points, I was thinking, "Ooh, maybe they do it. Maybe they do it." That was a good-looking Bonjour.
Honestly, I lost a lot of channel points there, but I do not mind one bit. It proved to me that South African Rocket League is looking good at the moment. All of those games were close. There were no blowouts except for the one that Bonjour took, surprisingly. So either which way, heartbreaking for Bonjour because they really, really, really played well. But again, it just shows the class of that Limitless outfit to close out the important games. And kudos to them.
Well, that's the frustrating thing, Q. I mean, we spoke about it in the pre-desk before the game that Limitless find a way to winning. They're just in the habit of winning, and they find a way. They find a way to make it happen.
Yeah, it definitely feels a little unfortunate with the way that Bonjour looked to say au revoir to them at this point, right at the top 4. I feel like they had, I mean, it was really a grand final, almost worthy sort of a matchup. But unfortunately, with the way that the format works out, not that we're blaming the format here, chat, but I think it is important to realize that when you have a team like Limitless in the bracket, right, sometimes when you get put on their side, all you can do is sit there and say, c'est la vie, right?
Yeah, well, they will. Big shout out to Bonjour. This was their best result of the entire split, so they should take some consolation in that and be happy with that result. And then, figure it out between now and split 2. But I want to see them back again. But that does bring us to the second semi-final, and that is now what we're calling one import team, one remote team. With Next playing out of Reunion Island and Astronic playing from, they're a Spanish team, right? Yes, they are indeed a Spanish team. And Bromeo, your immediate thoughts on who to watch out for, the players, what might we expect here?
All right, so this is an interesting one because I was waiting for this matchup to come along. And the reason why I'm keen to see this game played out is how similarly they play. Their game stats might vary a little bit. Astronic coming out higher on the goal and they shots as well. But NXT has proven that they place higher overall. But and this is the thing. They play a kind of Rocket League that most South African teams do not. They play a highly structured game. I mean, for example, you're looking at NXT. You see Lecram is lethal this tournament. He is scoring a lot of goals, but also very well supported by Jano and Gizo. And the same could be said for Astronic. With Bairachu absolutely scoring goals on demand. He's leading the league currently, and with 1.2 goals per game, that is massive. But also have a look at the amount of assists that Mario has. That means that although Bairachu is scoring the goals, Mario is setting them up. And the same could be said for Lecram and Jano. And they all play very specific roles in their team, and I guarantee it's not going to deviate too far from the format today. You're going to see a lot of goals by Bairachu, a lot of goals by Lecram, but you are going to see assists by Mario, you're going to see assists by Jano, and I'm very, very interested to see which import versus remote team takes this out today, but it's going to be close.
And looking at the team comparisons, Q, when we saw Limitless and Bonjour, the team comparisons are always so heavily in favor of Limitless. But the team comparisons with these two are really, really close. And I wonder if it comes down to a ping issue between these two teams.
Well, I do believe that both of our players will be playing on at least some sort of ping, right? So, I mean, something they'll both kind of have to be navigating their way around. I feel like the other thing, too, knowing that both teams are able to play a little bit of, or they're normally kind of go with that more organized structure, especially when we talk about them setting up their offenses. We know that both teams also like to try to be a little bit disruptive on the defense. I think the big thing is who's going to be able to be really efficient, maybe not so much on the demos, but being able to read the passing lanes and make sure that things aren't easy for the other offense.
All right. Well, I should say give a shout out to Astronic for at least getting images of 2 of their players over to ACGL so we could get images of them. So it wasn't a full house of blank faces.
Split two.
Yeah. And so in split 2, make sure you all get your images in there. All right. So I see the chat vote has been opened already. So let's hear from chat on their predictions. Hashtag NXT, hashtag ASTR. Which of these 2 do you think are taking it? Let's get into our predictions. And I'm going to go first because why not? I'm going to go with the import team, the team that are playing. They're out of reunion and playing in a way a team out of reunion should be playing. So I'm going to back Next to take this one, and I'll scoot on over to you, Bromia, for your prediction.
I'm going to agree with you, Greybeard. I know I didn't get my call right last game, but that was a romantic pick. My numbers say this game that Next has it, and Astronic's looking good. And I know chat vote's going a bit wild, but I see Muzz is busy swaying the vote there with 15k embers. I feel like that's market manipulation. But I've got to say, Lecram has been incredible this tournament. He's always been good, but he's really red hot right now. And if they can carry that through, I can't see anybody but Next.
All right. How about you, Q? Are you gonna sweep? Give a desk sweep. The most dangerous thing in all of professional Rocket League, the desk sweep.
It's an interesting story, right? Because we've definitely seen that Next is like their ceiling. They've shown a higher ceiling thus far in the qualifiers, but we've also seen that sometimes their floor could be a little bit lower. Sometimes that inconsistency. I also feel like Astronic has kind of been on more of an upward trend. Stonks are high, so go ahead and give me Astronic, but I think it's going to be a banger of a series, so I'm going to call it in 7.
All right. Well, a banger of a series is pretty much all we are asking for. And the chat vote is sitting at, it's pretty close. The most common vote, the winning vote yesterday was 54%.
Yep.
And I see we're bang on 54% for Next Aqua, 46% for Astronic. So, that's okay. It's now 52-48. So it's pretty close, but a slight finger on the scale for the Next team, and this is as far as Next have gotten. They've had one top 4 finish, the highest it's been for Astronic. Now Limitless sit in the green room waiting for their opponent, and their opponent will be one of these 2 teams who take to the field for semi-final number 2 right now.
The first shot at the grand finals awaits NXT and Astronic in a head-to-head matchup that's had yet to occur. The Dutch of NXT play from Union Island, while the Spaniards of Astronic carry momentum from miles away. Buzz, it's time to get on with who meets Limitless in the grand finals.
Yeah, Parajay, well, I all think we came for the telenovela. We're staying for the Rocket League, and that's exactly what we've witnessed here in this playoff weekend so far. So I think it's going to be a goodie.
Oh, it's gotta be 2 teams that have fought their way to this seat right here of the top 4. NXT, it's gonna be their first showing here. But for the other side of Astronic, I mean, they battled their way here. Mario and Yellow, and of course the striker of Byrachu trying to make that final push.
Yeah, hard-fought battle yesterday against 77 blocks as well, taking in those games 5, 6, and 7, doing emphatically well to kind of get a pseudo-reverse sweep and qualify even forward today. So Astronic Esports definitely doing a darn good job to get you.
Good job, and there's Yarno with a long clear. We can speak even more about this NXT Aqua team, but how about speaking of the moment that's occurred here? Mario has to jump up, leap for the save, but they're away from the play here. Yarno, the save to start the possession and the finishing factor as well.
Yeah, beautiful little kind of rebound came out of that corner just for Jono there to get it over Mario's head as well. Mario just kind of sitting, but dead-footed there on that near post, no pre-jump to try to get the stop. So NXT up by 1, yeah, Pyrogen. I think we've heard a lot about Lecrum in those pre-chats, but of course Jono and Gizu as well, both accomplished players, are able to stamp their authority on the series.
Yeah, Lecrum instrumental in the victories of NXT. To be completely honest, my eyes are on Yarno. This attack by NXT is led by that player in the disruption plays, the boost steals, and of course, the bumps and the demolitions. I saw multiple goals, Muzz, yesterday off of double demolitions from Yarno. This player is a menace, and Astronic must keep their eyes out for him.
Yeah, especially, Astronic yesterday going all the way through deep in that series just to beat that 77 blocks as well. So we do see NXT kind of hopefully keeping the foot down on the pedal the whole way through. That can obviously put Astronic here, but it's going to be a tough one.
It's going to be tough. Mario has this play from the ceiling, which sends multiple cars skyward. Lecrum pats this over towards the goal line. Hold on, and Yellow takes over. And Byrachu sends away. There's a midfield option from Mario. Splits the defense. And there you go. Equalizer quick from Astronic.
Yeah, and we've heard a lot from Byrachu as well. Byrachu just setting up their play with the nice little pass infield to Mario as well. Kind of beating out 2 defenders there from NXT. Both pre-jumping up, trying to beat Mario to that save. But beautiful pass infield from Byrachu. Good work.
This is reminiscent of yesterday as well. Their first goal was Byrachu passing to Mario for their first goal. Funny enough, though, as the series goes on, Mario has racked up the stats in assists, passing over to Byrachu, their resident striker. So watch as that role kind of flip-flops between the main attackers of Astronic.
Yeah, and almost 2 sets of Savior medals here on Astronic as well. We see both Mario and Agnello sitting on 2 apiece at the moment, Pyro So just a lot of defensive work here. Astronic putting down as well. Almost Agnello getting that goal. Sorry, I think it was Mario and Agnello picked up the demo there by Lecrum. But definitely a lot of defensive work here getting put down by Astronic just to keep NXT out of bay. And now the demo getting returned by Byrachu as well. Jono has to push this one out. Who's going to go up for this Mario? Bit of a touch back here as well. Gizu might be able to favor him as well. Jono! Almost that left-hand corner.
Still trying to work on this possession, especially with that bump attempt. Mario evades it and clears, and Yellow to follow here. Beats on the 50-50 against Gizu. Yarno, the only defender left here. Let's get clearance. And there's follow-up as well from NXT. That's the important factor here. Astronic can be deadly on the follow-up attempts, but NXT have the vision to cut them off.
Gizu, not sure if that was going to be a pass. He wanted to try and get a shot for himself. A bit of a hard pinch that went all the way across the face of Astronic's goal. Mario, not underfoot that he grabbed. They want Gizu has to cut them off. Jono, can he play this one? Might steal the 100 as well out of the corner. Oh my goodness, nice little cut out there play from Agnello. Gizu, back to Byrachu. They're going to be able to find Jono on the other side of the field though as well. Gizu finding the demo onto Mario. What can he do with the full tank of boost? Nothing. Pass 2. Is it a loose ball here? Oh my goodness, just wide. Gizu! Decent save there from Agnello. One more shot here from NXT. Another bite of the cherry. Nothing happening. Lecrum down for someone. Mario to keep it out.
And Yellow gets the Savior's medal while he's the last defender remaining. Some shaky clears coming out of Astronic straight to the striker's lap. But unable to finish is NXT so far. This possession is really waning on Astronic. How much longer can they last? Gizu not able to pick up that infield pass from Yarno. Byrachu on the side wall. Wow, and Yellow just following up with a tap on the ball. It's working side to side with them. Final moments in regulation here as Astronic may look to survive through that OT.
Yeah, we only saw the 1 OT in our previous series. They were Limitless beat Bonjour. Now is it going to be NXT and Astronic going to a second OT this evening? We're going to see if there's remaining 4 seconds of regulation might be able to do something here. Lecrum, ball still up, double commit here coming up from Astronic. Ball down, there we go, OT, game number 1.
I think NXT wanted to play that, but
It was
came
close.
just short of keeping the ball alive. Hold on, Byron, 1v1 to the net. Oh, it's off the side of the goal, right off the post. Didn't get the friendly roll.
Oh, just when you think it's going to be an early kickoff goal, your Pirate J kept at bay. 1 pixel, a little bit too far away from that near post as well. Mario! Oh, the crossbar down. Nothing goes in. Oh, my goodness. That's devastating to witness.
How many pixels is the margin going to continue to be here? Sidewall. Gizu able to react to quickly enough. Here's Gizu. Now, again, against Byrachu. Mario just about beat from Lacrom, and Yellow to follow for this Astronic attack, but Byrachu peels off the play, sees the counterattack coming. Just to make sure they're prepared for it. Gets the boost, but in mode for it. Victim of that play, but then Yellow able to resurface the attack. Here comes Mario. Cannot defeat Gizu on the play. Yarno all the way to the backboard. Second touch is there. Path out to Lacrom, but Mario intercepts.
Yeah, Astronic defense just a bit too quick there. That active defense in their third at the back. Just holding NXT at bay at the moment. And now the counter here coming out from Astronic. Oh my goodness. And Yellow and Mario both taking a crack at it. Gizu has to make a save though. Oh my word. Just when you think OT was going to be finished, Pirate J, a huge Gizu in the box.
Gizu, I mean, right place, right time, I guess, but
Oh, no.
Can you battle away this crossbar shot? They can! Every part of the bar denying these shots right now from Astronic. Unbelievable how they haven't found this overtime goal. They're giving more chances here to NXT. Yarno picks up this ball. Out and over to the side, and Yellow does find the clear. Oh, and Astronic just going to be so disappointed if they do not find this goal.
Yeah, it's just the double commit earlier from Astronic as well, just keeping everyone at bay. We've seen the crossbar being a pesky defender, just keeping up both sides here. 7 minutes in game number 1 here, Pirate J going the distance as well. They have a little shot there. I think that was the Crumb, sorry, Gizu, Jono. Yeah, there's the Crumb underfoot there as well, third man. Mario and Agnello now have to play out of their own corner here, but Gizu going up to compete already. Had about a half a tank boost for that as well. Jono wants to try and make a pass to second mania. Can he do so? You see Mario there. Or does Byrachu just fighting tooth and nail in the corner to keep out NXT? Maybe a shot from Mario? Kept out by Lacrom.
There's just no boost there for Mario. I mean, it's so difficult to make a play against the speedy defense of NXT. But I do want to credit the defense right now from Astronic. At times yesterday against 77 blocks, it looked paper thin. I mean, there was a game where they didn't credit a single goal. Gizu double tap. Oh, bouncer towards the corner. Not going to make it there. And they've got to put these on target if they're really going to test the defense of Astronic.
And just when Lacrom, you thought it was going to be able to follow up from Gizu's double shot there. I think Agnello in the box just to push that one out and wide. But just so many opportunities coming thick and fast here, Pirate J, and neither of these sides are able to find the back of the net right now. They're just everyone in chat getting their money's worth at the moment.
Well, and we knew that the grand finals spot was going to have to be worked for, right?
Yeah.
This is going to be the first time that either team gets that spot, and what's very clear is that you got to fight tooth and nail for it. Byrachu had that set up to Mario. That duo was going to link up yet again with NXT. And they found the response many a times, and they will again here. Gizu doesn't want the quick counter attack. Takes away the ball immediately. Mario back down to the ground. Unable to steal boost, does acquire a bump. Lacrom there on the backboard to steer it away. And Yarno does get dunked, but Lacrom's going to have time here.
Yeah, beautiful play there from Mario, just to kind of interrupt any kind of transitional play there as well. Shot just goes wide there as well. Lacrom gets the demo. Jono trying to play quickly on the counter here as well. Slow down a little bit, Lacrom in the corner there. Mario to pick this one up. Opportunities coming abounding for both these sides here. Second man, and Yellow, maybe wide again, Pirate J. Oh my goodness, you cannot buy a goal.
If we could call timeouts mid-game, I think Astronic would do it right now, hit the shooter's training pack, and then hop right back in. These shots gotta go on target at some point, or they're just gonna give that last opportunity to NXT. Byrachu, scary, taking that ball across the face of the goal, but guarded it the whole way. Get the 50-50 if needed. Mario up the ceiling to himself. But again, that's gonna be wide. Tough to follow up there, even if you're on Yellow, with a good shot. towards the net. Demolition there. Goal line open. Pirachu there. And finally, a shot Muzz that Astronic cannot miss.
Yeah, and Yellow gets that demo as well onto possibly Jono as well there. And we saw, yeah, and Yellow coming across there, trying to kind of sweep a bit in the defense. And Pirachu, you cannot miss an open goal just like that. So just, you know, that pressure was building the whole entire time, Pirate J. And eventually, the team to crack it. Astronic, Skill Quest.
What do you make of that first game, Buzz? I mean,
oh my goodness, beautiful.
Such a long overtime.
Did we get to another 5 minutes?
I think it did. Yeah, I think it was at least
great.
5.
So two full games in game number 1. You know, Greybeard loves the schedule going that way.
Like you said, we're getting our money's worth here today. Yep. You know, and NXT Aqua at this point in time, I don't think you can rely on Astronic missing those balls, right? We talked about Pirachu yesterday being the driver of the day.
Yeah.
Part of that was hitting incredible shots on goal. One of the shots of the day, in fact, was from Anyello, our near MVP of this game number 1, who had this incredible redirect off the back wall. You have so much striking prowess from Astronic that if that finds its rhythm, there is going to be trouble from NXT moving forward.
Yeah, and it's just a pity that so many kind of balls went awry, right? Like you said, you can't rely on the other team missing. You kind of have to make your own opportunities here. And I suppose, you know, Bromeo might just be cooking up a new stat, how many shots missed, because it's just, there were maybe too many for a semi-final like this when everything's on the line here, Pirate J. And one of these teams, Astronic, has never, you know, been into the top 4. And this is the first time, right? This is the second time here for NXT. And both the teams' first time making the grand final. So you need to make sure that the shots are going to stick.
Keep it going here. Yarno is here from the corner. Take it over to Lacrom. Desperately, NXT Aqua do want this first goal to stop the drought, even the overtime for both teams. It was a long time to not find that relief of a goal. And Yellow, a tap there to Byrachu, who sends it skyward all the way across the field, expends all their fuel just to give them the advantage here, but time to peel off, time to play defense again after the demolition.
Yeah, Lacrum and Mario both sitting on kind of no boost at all at the moment, just kind of cruising around and 12s each at the moment. I think we saw 10 shots that coming from Astronic in that previous game as well, and just, you know, a lot of that accuracy needing to be a little bit higher if you want to win the semi-final games as well. A small pinch from Jono. Attacked there by Anyello as well. Lacrum will be able to pick this one up and kind of slowly make himself way across the field, and, you know, not too much pace in this game number 2.
NXT Aqua back on the attack here. Lacrum not able to get the 50-50, but the demolition is there. Out from the corner, and they couldn't steer that goalward quickly enough. Those demos, they can be so effective. We know it especially from this NXT team. That is what they love to capitalize on.
Yeah.
They've got to make sure that follow-up effort is towards the net. And Yellow taken away yet again by Yarno. And he is feeling devilish.
Yeah. Still 0-0 on our scoreboard here. Kind of almost 2 minutes of regulation elapsed in Pirate J. Someone needs to try get into the back of the net right now. NXT, no one's even broken 50, which is kind of scary when you think you've had 2 minutes of game time. So just Astronic just kind of holding on to all the position at the moment, almost getting a goal there as well. Byrachu and Yellow and Mario all taking a crack at it. Nothing sticking. Byrachu just playing a little bit of keep away, holds onto the ball, makes a pass to himself. Maybe over Lacrum's head. Lacrum, though, with the push out.
These teams are so even. This matchup so toe-to-toe here.
Yeah.
I mean, how much time have we spent here with no goals scored? We had that one relief after the long overtime, but we're halfway through game number 2, and once again, it's even-handed. And Yellow trying to break that streak here. A long clear that is on target from Gizu, and Yellow just there on the pursuit back to the net is able to beat the ball. Midfield pass to Byrachu, and Gizu is called to action.
Yeah, first shot registered here by NXT. Only 2 for Byrachu at the moment. Slow pace at the moment. Maybe this is open. That's going to be why Jono has to get a hand to that as well. Gets a touch. Byrachu down. Does he have Mario? Does he have Anyello as well? Anyello flying into the action though. Kept at bay. Anyello back to Byrachu. Maybe this is an opportunity. Oh, it is! Okay, bottom right corner.
Fuel was running out here. for Astronic. Oh, excuse me, for NXT. I mean, they started double committing on shots. They were wrapping around the field, grabbing pads as much as they could, but just could not cover every aspect of the net there. Byrachu finds the opening on the opposite side, maybe off the kickoff here as well. But no, they're not going to allow it that easily.
One to the good at the moment. Oh, Lacrum almost finding that flick over Nanyello. Trying to keep his team alive at the moment, and NXT applying just a little bit of pressure there, but beautiful save. Byrachu just jumping off that backboard. Decent defense and active defense here from the Astronic side. Lacrum once again able to do this full tanker boost past one. Can he beat out Mario? Oh, Mario just a bit of an awkward touch into the mid here. Keep away there by Gizu. Gizu doesn't find Jono because Jono actually gets bumped by Mario. Almost would have been a decent play from NXT though. Just again, we see these Astronic players causing a bit too much trouble.
Yeah, too much trouble for NXT to find the rhythm. I mean, if you include the overtime, we're at near 15 minutes in which NXT have not scored a goal. So they're trying to break through past that drought. And if they don't do it in this final minute, they're going to find themselves well behind in the series. Is it Gizu to Lacrum to start off the difference maker? Mario goes back to the sidewall, allowing Yellow to play this instead. 50-50 does suit Astronic well as Mario first to this ball. No, does contend right there against Yarno. Back pass from Gizu. There's Demolition on Lacrum, so the attack from all the opponents may stall here unless Byrachu can get this out to Mario. No, Yarno again sends to the midfield. Limited time here for NXT to get that equalizer.
Especially when on the back foot, Chan. Both we have to see Jono and Lacrum making saves on that backboard, and all the tech coming at you from Astronic. Maybe it's a loose one, maybe it's wide. Jono not able to snipe that one as well, not having the pace or the legs to get there. So we might just see Astronic skill quest pick up game number 2. Yeah, ball's gonna go down. There it is. GG's.
There you go, Astronic. Another win here to put themselves 2-0 in the series. Another 1-point game, a close affair, low scoring, and a nail-biting series. And off of that, Muzz, we are going to get the timeout here from NXT Aqua. I mean, you've got to kind of reset the mental or reset the strategy here because they are not creating enough lanes to score 2 registered shots in that entire game.
Yeah, and just that kind of incredibly slow-paced first 2 minutes as well. We see the ball touches both being quite even on either side, and that just kind of shows you exactly how that kind of table tennis match occurred there in the first 2.5 minutes. Pirate J just back and forth. No one really able to steal themselves and get into the back of the net until we saw that first Astronic goal there. But yeah, it's a bit of a slow game number 2 here as well, and I think if either team wants to go up against Limitless, then definitely have to pick up the pace.
Yeah, and you mentioned it's a slow game, pick up the pace, this and that. Maybe just score more points, get more ball touches, more effectiveness behind the ball. I mean, Mario sits at 30 points after that game.
Oh, yeah.
30 is unbelievable, yet you still get the win. I mean, we're talking about it. It's a battle for the midfield to set up quality possessions and scoring chances. For Astronic, if they want more score chances, you want to leverage Mario as that playmaker. He's the resident assister for the team, and maybe it takes getting a solid possession to allow him to give the chances to the teammates. But for the other side, I think players like Yarno and Lacrum, who tend to lead the attack for this team, have to get activated.
I mean, exactly that. And, talking about them, Lacrum and Jono both making those 2 saves off the back wall. And then this doesn't kind of get converted into a very quick counter-attack from NXT. Where's Gizu and all of that action between those players? And as you said, you got to activate Jono, you got to activate Lacrum, you got to try get that ball moving forward. And unfortunately, at the moment, we see Astronic just kind of squashing them in their own half a bit too much.
Astronic, they won that grand finals. I mean, it's their first top 4 appearance here. They got a chance to make top 2 now. It's a lovely chance here, and they're going to take full advantage of it, certainly, if they can. NXT, they come into this playoffs as the number 1 seed, but may depart if we see Astronic continue their scoring and winning affairs as we hop in for Game 3.
And Jono already getting into there to try and move NXT forward on that play. Bit of a loose ball here. Everyone's waiting for it to come down to Crumb. Oh, not going to find Agnello. Birachu has to get up as well, but Gizu beats out 2 there. And Jono and NXT, maybe opportunities to move forward here. Demo as well coming out there from Jono onto Mario. Ball coming around the bend. Not going to find Gizu though as that second man. Unfortunately, the Crumb won't be able to get that assist off.
Again and again, you're noticing the resiliency of Astronic right here, right? It's not that NXT can't get the demolitions they're used to applying. It's more so that Astronic are just clear on comms and making sure that each player takes the role needed to allow the defense to reset.
What will NXT be able to muster up here? That touch not finding the man up front from Jono there as well, and Birachu. Let's get that pinch on the wall as well. Mario has to try and get this off the backboard. Out to Gizu. The Crumb finding that demo as well. A bit of more physicality here coming out from NXT Aqua. Jono going up. Wants to make a pass. Not too much in the tank to allow him to carry on. Just to get the pass off. Birachu down. Can they get it over any heads here, Pirate J? It doesn't seem to be the case. No African bounces today.
Oh, but LaCrom on the other side. So close. NXT, they're getting closer and closer to finding that goal. Ever since the beginning of game 1, they have been stopped. But surely some opportunity has to go their way. At some point, they've got to break the seal. Ball comes right off the ceiling. Mario is there. Birachu on the other side of the field. Probably headhunting, picking up boost and making sure that NXT don't have the resources to capitalize on a defensive play here. Mario from the midfield line takes on 2 defenders. If Gizu's beat here, it's a great chance for Astronic. Yes, Birachu with time now. Shot towards the crossbar, down on the goal line, and he's following his shot for the first goal of Astronic.
And Birachu just making the plays the whole way around you, but I want to see what LaCrum was doing. LaCrum just kind of maybe not anticipating the play, didn't go with the pre-jump, and just kind of led shoes stuck in that goal box there, Pirate J, and just, yeah, didn't even challenge Birachu.
It's the recognition of mistakes like that from NXT, who are sending 2 on some attacks.
Yeah.
To continue the attack, continue the offensive. Get those goals where they count.
All
but
right.
This one certainly going to count. An infield link up for NXT.
Yeah, and Jono gets a beautiful touch out from Gizu, sends it right back. The good old 1-2-1. A nice goal that coming from NXT. They needed to get that equalizer. They needed interlink in play there. And Jono and Gizu, good job.
A weight off their shoulders, the sigh of relief for a moment, because there's so much work still to be done. Not only in this game, but this series for NXT, but wow, what time it was that they weren't able to score. The pressure will only weigh some more as Birachu scores another. I think he was credited with a turtle goal here. Oh yeah, he's a bit upside down there. He had to flip to make it to the pass there from Mario.
Yeah, quite possibly. And you know, you just love kind of Mario's foresight, right? He sees that there's only Gizu, I think, at the back in defense, right? So just completely open from NXT as well. And Birachu racing up that midfield just to be able to score from that pass. And so just good awareness coming out here from Astronic. And Yellow, maybe the dunk as well. It's not going to go over. There it is. Makes it 3.
The follow-up on the shots is excellent from Astronic. Again, from Agnello. Maybe the shot doesn't go in, but oh, I can crawl my way from the backboard and ensure it finds its destination. A 2-goal lead now, and maybe their biggest in the series from Astronic. Can they make it 3? No, Mario misfires on the kickoff. Was working a bit too quickly to the ball.
Yeah, would have been really decent to go up by 1 more there, but Mario just a bit too wide of that post as well. Demo's coming out thick and fast here from both these sides. Mario will happily take that one from Gizu. Get it over the halfway. Birachu for Mario. Just a bit of a kind of cluster there on that right-hand side. And now the Crumb sending it long. It's going to be stopped out by Mario, but Gizu as well is fighting here tooth and nail. Jono! Oh, that's a nasty one.
Well, the goal lines have been opened up a bit in this game, and players taking full advantage of it. A 50-50 goes well the way of NXT, and Yarno is not going to see that opportunity go loose. Back to the 1-point game.
Yeah, and we thought game 2 was slow, Pirate J. Now we've got 5 goals in front of us. 90 seconds remain of regulation, but game 3 here on Utopia, it's looking to be a real good one.
Well, think about how this game could go as well if NXT dropped this game. I mean, they're looking at a reverse sweep. They need to do.
Oh, yeah.
So this last minute 30 could be the most important minute 30 they play on Championship Sunday. They have got to make sure that they can contend in this game number 3. And it may start with Gizu, who's got the air dribble. There, Yarno. Oh, just in front of that ball. Can touch off the ceiling. Firechu contending here against it in the midfield. Mario, a long ball towards the net, forcing Lacrom to save.
NXT, they need to start with urgency at the moment. Controlled urgency. Pins from Gizu. He's going to go all the way long downfield. Able to nab that 100 from mid as well. But cut out there by Agnello. And Agnello playing to himself as well perfectly. Maybe this one will be able to drop down. Jono has to get up to make that save. Firechu as well up in there. Trying to do something with it. NXT. They need to get on the counter here. They need to be able to get a dunk on to Astronic's head. Jono once again trying to have a bite of that apple. But kept at bay.
I mean, if you're Yarno, you're looking back at that saying, I want that opportunity again. So close to finding the steep angle that's going to equalize in this game. And so limited time to make do here. Ball off the backboard. Shot there from Mario. Somehow does not find its target. And a last effort provided to NXT. Gizo under this ball. No, the flick has no sauce to it. And it's put to the ground. Astronic eke away yet another victory.
And you know, now the major problem as well, NXT have already taken their timeout, Pirate J. So you cannot call any timeout now. You're going into series point, and you need to now make sure that you reset and regain and spend the next 5 minutes able to try push the series.
No timeouts, no wiggle room left here for NXT. They swept in Swiss, 9-1 in game differential. And they went all the way here to the semifinals, but yet to find their win here against Astronic after they fought tooth and nail against 77 blocks to game 7 to get here. I mean, this is just an impressive effort from this team that looks to be back in the rhythm that we're used to seeing them, Muzz. I mean, how about the second goal especially? Mario lunges a ball across the goal line that Byrachu has to pre-flip almost into for the shot. It's the trust between those two teams that gives people faith in the attack of Astronic.
Oh yeah, of course, right. Mario just that perfect touch out to Barichi, and Barichi just with a kind of good time and good read to make sure he was there all for it. And of course, that lack of defense coming up from NXT Aqua as well. You know, Astronic yesterday put up 15 goals so they could win in that game 7. Pirate J just shows you kind of the hunger that comes out from all of our players here within SSA. But NXT, they did finish Swiss at number 1. And so someone needs to kind of find things gelling, right? You know, Lacrum and Jono, they're doing the best. Jono, we saw kind of, you know, those backboard drop downs just weren't landing as well as they could have.
Well, they got to land here. And you mentioned the hunger. It's got to be starvation here, because for NXT, you're looking at the last chance to make do here, to give yourself the opportunity to make the grand finals of this final qualifier for Major number 1. This is it right here, right now. Match point for Astronic.
And NXT, they need to use the next 5 minutes incredibly wisely. Gizu's going to try to get the one midfield as well. Double commit coming out. We both see Barichu and Mario just committing in that defense as well. Barichu and Yellow try and stop out Lacrum. Lacrum won't have a pass to Gizu as well because Barichu's in the box. Jono takes a shot with the follow-up. It's good.
And if there is one player that is starving for a victory, it is Yarno. Great follow-up here off the miniature clear. It was necessary for Astronic to get in front of that ball. Enough pressure to break Astronic.
Just that follow-up there, Pirate J, is exactly what NXT need, right? There's just kind of defense and defense from Astronic. And then Yarno coming in from that second man, swatting it, sending it home. Perfect for NXT. But now, can they withstand the remaining 4 minutes here and keep Astronic out? That's really going to be the big test for them.
It goes back since the beginning of game number 1 that we've seen Astronic trail in a game. Obviously, they did come back to win that game, but got to make sure they could do that again. What's it like seeing Astronic play from behind, because it's been so long here, as Yarno does find the dunk, and looking to capitalize, maybe get the largest lead that NXT have worked with in this series.
Oh, and now Gizu having an opportunity to take a shot after Lecrum, but Mario I'm able to hold out from them at the moment. Lecrum will just pick up Mario's pass there as well. Can you do something with this? Lecrum, nothing in the tank as well. Nabs a quick pad off the floor. Yarno, maybe with the double. Coming in Gizu, there it is!
Yarno's activated. I mean, He is online. He is ready. The second touch off the ceiling, nearly the second double tap off the backboard. If you want to headhunt anybody here, Astronic, if you want someone to have a target on their back, you know who it is now.
Yeah, NXT were out in the desert and now they've found their oasis. It seems to be working at the moment, and one of the most crucial games, Game 4 here, Pirate J. They need to do something with this. Oh, that drop down from Agnello would have been good for Birachu. Kept out by NXT though, and that's the kind of defense you really do need.
Battle tested here. Astronic as they get one of their most convincing possessions here yet in the game. 2 minutes into it already. Gizu wants to see if they can hold control in this game. Well articulated there as they remain behind the ball for the 50-50. Lecrum, even though his teammate is demoed, there's still a passing option here to Yarno. Got towards the crossbar. Birachu already with the Savior's Medal. And Agnello, there's a double demo. They're traded. Maybe to get it there. Over to Birachu, who's lurking near the net, but can't find the chance to fire away. Physicality is paramount here as players are still chasing each other, Muzz, to get that open avenue.
Yeah, exactly. That double demo. And Yarno almost getting that flick over, but just wasn't enough. And Gizu following up, but not able to find a third here from NXT as well. Gizu, nice little jump from the wall. Anticipates what Birachu wants to do. Beats him to the ball. And now Agnello, can he get it over our halfway line? A lot of NXT players want to try stifle any of that forward movement. Yarno. Forward for Birachu. Oh my goodness. Birachu had to make a decent save just to keep out Gizu. And now on the counter, the crowd pushes it out.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Birachu was bumped into that save by his opposition, so a bit unfortunate for NXT, but at the same time, they're still holding out to this 2-goal lead. Maybe it's 3 here. Now Mario diving save. An attempted redirect. Pass out to Agnello. Shot is there, but Gizu, as well as Yarno, able to recover well in time. Here's Mario. Shot chance. There it is. The duo's back of Birachu and Mario.
Yeah, and unfortunately, a bit of a hard kind of bump and shot there from Gizu that sends it well up to Birachu on the wall. Who's able to get the kind of decent pass down to Mario. And so we do find Astronic now on the scoreboard. 1 goal difference, Pirate J, but clock's ticking down slowly. NXT, they just need to hold on for a little bit longer.
Gotta hold on, and I would argue they've got to continue to push the tempo. They have succeeded in this game by holding more of the possession, more of the chances, and realistically, not allowing Astronic to get those passes to go. NXT do begin after this kickoff with possession, and I just feel like it's got to stay that way, because if you get opportunities like this, where Birachu is almost able to flip to that shot, it starts to get scary.
Yarno, again, wanting to make sure his team's on the front foot. The Agnello down to Lecrum. Lecrum, bit of a nice little awkward shot there towards the net, though, but Birachu comfortably on that near post, able to save it. Gizu. Oh, fighting, yeah, still in the corner. Gizu. Oh, he doesn't have a player coming in as that second man. NXT wanting to extend their lead. Now 40 seconds remain. Just need to hold on a little bit longer. Yarno, can they get the double? It's not going to be happening because Agnello keeps it out.
I mean, NXT Aqua, they've got to punish on those mistakes. Right now, Astronic are really risking it to find these passing options, and they're actually lobbing the ball into enemy territory. Luckily for Astronic, they're still going to get a chance here. Backward pass to Agnello. Oh, it's out to Mario. Ooh. Finally, Birachu could have completed the effort, but Mario still with a chance. Backboard touch there, and peeling in is Agnello. Birachu has to back off just to get a ball touch, but it's Lecrum now to the ceiling. Yarno can put the stamp on the game, but won't. It's a final effort here for Astronic. Birachu down the wall. Mario off the backboard. Is it Agnello to complete the effort? No. NXT Aqua, they hold on for their first game win.
Oh, there it is. Holding on for dear life here, Pirate J and NXT Aqua. They take game number 4. Now that reverse sweep can start. And yesterday we did see, or at least heard Markfish tell in Ollie, how exactly that reverse sweep starts and what are the rules of it. And NXT Aqua, they're following that rulebook strictly.
Yeah, you gotta kind of start from behind, right? Work your way back. In this game, though, it was all started by Yarno. Again, getting that first goal and then the nearly double tap from Yarno to pass it out to Gizu for that second goal. I mean, you can see the hunger we were asking for and that we were talking about from this team. I think one of the things, though, while their attack is starting to find its rhythm here from NXT Aqua, they've got to have the vision as well. Right now, Astronic, what they're capitalizing on for scoring chances are these passing plays. There's no denying it, especially between Mario and Barachu. Starting off from even their own side of the net, they've got to have the vision. They've got to have the wherewithal to cut those off and punish them on mistakes where they're risking it too much for these passes. NXT Aqua, they've got the chance to really lead heavily in these games if they take advantage of every chance.
I also like from NXT Aqua that Gizu just had a lot more involvement there in game number 4 as well. We talk a lot about Lecrum and Yano, but Gizu as well had that one goal with 4 shots. And so I think when we activate Gizu at the back and he comes in and he kind of plays a bit more around his two teammates, and we see a bit of a, dangerous NXT outfit. Oh, well, there we go. That's how you open up game 5.
Oh, Barachu almost wanted to call for a restart of the game here because that shot's just gotta go in. Thankfully for him and Yellow there to follow it up for the early lead of Astronic.
Yeah, and we've seen kind of a lot of those shots have been stuck this evening here, Pirate J, but that one goes into the back of the net from Barachu and the near post as well. And the Astronic skill quests are going to feel incredibly happy with that one.
I mean, I think for Barachu as well, while you look to this player as being the striker, hold on, Yarno, close on that dribble. He's on a follow. Mario demoed. Yarno back up. Here it is from Lacrom. Oh, very close. A second effort there. And Astronic pulling every defender here to make sure they get this ball away. I was going to mention it was Barachu with 5 saves in the last game, so he's used to playing a whole lot of defense, but on the attack, can he be activated? No, again, just a miss.
Yeah, and we kind of talk about these workhorses on the field here, Paragen. It seems that everyone has one on their team, just likes to do that grunt work. They can shoot, they can save goals, they can make sure their passes are on point, and Barachu definitely pulling that off here for Astronic at the moment. Yano having to make that save under pressure here. Oh, close. NXT having to keep that one out. Lacrum though with the save this time, and Gizu with that follow-up.
Such a huge heads-up play from Lacrom, but Mario to himself on the ceiling! It's a double tap for the ages!
Oh, and Lacrum passes it straight down to Mario. Beautiful touch up to the ceiling, gets the second read. Absolute banger, Michael Jordan dunk into the back of the net. Up by 2, Pirate J, and again, we're on serious points, of course. Astronic can win this and they can take it 4-1. It's close.
They're on pace to do it, but many opportunities still lie ahead. Right next to Aqua, as they've gotten plenty of chances already at this game. I expect more to occur, but not if they lob this. Oh, into enemy territory. Wait, it's Gizu to cut it off. And the answer, the response, it couldn't be more heavy-handed.
Oh, and just that nice little tap down off the bonnet from Lacrum. Gizu gets a second touch off that backboard as well. And we said, activate Gizu, get in on the action, right? He scored 1 goal in our previous game from 4 shots. So let's see what he can do. And it started out with that Lacrum pass. It's perfect.
You mentioned the dunk. I feel like we're in a dunk contest right now. Not the semifinals of RLCS. Oh my goodness, almost a double now from Mario. Speed activated. Oh, Barachu tries to split the defense in the post. But again, the post, the greatest enemy so far for Barachu.
But the defense there from NXT, very stagnant though. I think kind of, Astronic could have scored definitely. But again, post and Woodward keeping them out. So NXT lucky, trailing by 2 right now.
There's a yellow though. Try to turn it back around for Astronic. They were scored on. Barachu. Full boost here to work the ball, so he's going to slow play it here. Does defeat 2 defenders. It's those minute plays that give the advantage over to Astronic. and definitely forms sweat on the brow for NXT. Gizu is wayward of the net, but Firechew has the lane cut off, and Yellow looks to read this off the back wall. Yarno gets one touch. Mario ready to put this goalward, but it's a double. Firechew wanted it as well. It's not gonna matter. Mario effectively ball chasing and getting the skull.
Oh, and this angle was absolutely filthy here. Just, Yarno can't anticipate that ball getting shot right behind him, right-hand side of the net. Stronic skill quest, yeah, Parja. They got 2 minutes left, but they're up by 2. Things looking real cozy for them at the moment if Mario can shoot at those acute angles.
Is the game ever cozy when you've got players like Gizu putting shots on like this and Yarno racking up demolition statistics for the ages? I will say, though, the 2-goal lead has been rare in this series, so definitely a good feeling here for Astronic as they do survive once again off the possession from NXT, but there's more coming.
Oh, just when we thought the NXT were maybe going to take a crack at it as well. Just a quick ball down here. And Yellow, nothing in the tank to continue play, but he finds Firechew. Nice little pass to the corner there, Lacrum and Gizu, both waiting. Oh, cut out there by Firechew as well. Lacrum has to take this one a bit scarily across his own goal face there, and Yellow wants to take the shot, but Lacrum had to keep it out. Whoa, almost danger there from Firechew once again.
Mario on that ball. Oh, how about this? Yarda over to Gizu. Lacrum wants the corner. Double read. Oh, comes pixels away from it. Good chance and certainly shot opportunities that are needed for NXT Aqua. It's that final minute as they're against match point. Their tournament lives at stake. The grand final seat. Oh, right at the doorstep. But does anyone want to climb to it? The ball's on the goal line and somehow NXT survive.
Oh my goodness. Knock, knock. No one is answering that door there as well. Just, I think 5 players looked at a loose ball. No one wanted to grab onto it as well. But NXT, they need to muster up something quick. Down by 2 still, Parajay. Tournament life here on the line. Lacrum finds that demo. Lacrum's going to be able to pick this one up. He does have Gizu as well, hanging around in the wings. Can't get past, and Yellow just interrupting the play there perfectly. Astronic almost finding their way through to the grand final. Mario! Okay, and Yellow follows up. Mario should have slammed that one, but it's fine. You got teammates.
Yeah, NXT Aqua, they pull everybody on the attack, and on the other side, there's just nobody left. They risked it, but no biscuit here for NXT Aqua for a series. That's effectively over. Astronic, again, they had a barn burner in the quarterfinals to make it to Game 7 and the win to get here, and they're not taking the opportunity lightly. A convincing victory here in Game number 5 will give them the bid to the grand finals.
Well, previously known as the Firehawks, they're flying high today and they go straight through to the grand final. They'll face, of course, SSA, Stalwarts, and Champions Limitless. One more crack here, maybe? And Yellow doesn't find Mario on the other side. They don't want to get a 6th goal, but it's fine. Beat him by 4. Clock's ticking down. Parja just needs to go down. There it is. Astronic skill quest. They make their way through. First time as well.
Yeah, first time for them and a great win for these players. Firechew, Mario again so effective here. Mario with the most assists, but this time in Yellow had the highest scoring for the team, and it's really not his first time doing that for the team. It's been such an instrumental factor for the squad as well. As they get that grand finals bid, Graybeard, we've got our top 2 for our qualifier.
I've never seen a team win so well, yet have so much trouble finding the middle of the net. For me, there was so.
You're telling me.
And it all started in that Game 1 overtime where it was. I have never seen a consecutive series of the ball being halfway into the net and then getting out and then hitting a post and then a crossbar out. And that theme continued throughout. And I loved that Game 1. It went into overtime. And my thought at the time was I've never seen teams, it was worthy of the comparison stats. They were so close in those team comparisons. It was like, yeah, these are 2 very equal teams going up against each other. But from Game 2, it always seemed seemed like NXT Pyro were just a yard or two behind. They, if it was a race, Astronic were always just slightly ahead.
I guess a yard or two behind, and yeah, the playmaking was a bit slower. It definitely ramped up as the series went, right? We saw one game where a player had 30 points and another team, again, had 2 registered shots, right? Like, we were really ramping up to a pace that was met later on in the series. So I agree there. On the midfield dominance, I think that really was Astronic to have the lead there. And they just carried on, in fairness, with that momentum.
Yeah, and they used their momentum very well, but Muzza did feel like they could have made it far more emphatic if they had found the goal as many times as they had gotten the opportunities on goal.
Yeah, 100%, right? I mean, just kind of after game number 2, of course, very sluggish, and then just after that, kind of maybe way too many whiffs for a semi-final, right? Yes, they won 4-1, but just you could have absolutely crushed NXT. Maybe if a lot more of those were on, the accuracy was good, on point, and they were sticking. I just think that woodwork was too good, just kind of left, right of the post, it missed, and then of course Jono and LeCrump both coming off the backboard to make those saves, right? So just kind of a lot of pressure getting, thrown in by Astronic, but not always sticking.
All right. Well, what this all means is that NXT fall short of their best result. They've been in the top 4 before. They will not do better than that and find themselves in the grand finals. However, the previous Firehawks team, now Astronic Skill Quest, find themselves in a grand final, in the final regional for the first split of the 2024 RLCS. And all the way down from 94 teams, only 2 remain, and those 2 are Astronic and Limitless. And they will be getting ready right now to do battle in our grand final. Remember that the Driver of the Day vote is now open. acgl.gg/vote. Who is your driver of the day? Who's had the most impact today? Go and vote for them. It could be from any of the 2 series that have already been played, semi-final 1 and 2, or in the grand final coming up, that to be announced after the grand final. But that grand final, like every regional, we find ourselves here. It always comes quicker than we think, but it's coming up right now. After this, I'm sure, is going to be a very, very short break. Yo, here we are, grand finals time, regional number 3, open qualifier number 3, the last of the split. Our first place, our first time at a major has already been secured. That by Limitless, who are one of our grand finalists. And for the first time, first time this split for sure, we have a new team in the grand finals. That is Astronic, priorly known as Firehawks. So we're in for a cracker. But Bromeo, coming to you, your takedown of that last series. After game 1, it looked like it was going to be neck in neck all the way, a photo finish. But Astronic pulling away with each game.
Honestly, commentators curse hitting me hard on that one. On paper, it was neck and neck. There wasn't anything separating these teams. They both have clinical strikers. They've got very good defensive efforts, and they've got a man who assists in the middle. But NX just couldn't pull it out today, and they couldn't score when they needed to, and ultimately, what I've been touting from them this entire split is their efficiency. They couldn't bring that efficiency today. They could get it to the goal, but they just couldn't get it in.
And I don't know, Q, what their plan is for next split. I'm assuming they're staying on to compete in the next. That hasn't been confirmed. But, a lot has been mentioned about their consistency, but that would absolutely be something they should be working on. Being based in the region, not having the ping issues, they should be doing a lot better than they have. I mean, having said that, this is their second top 4, so it hasn't been a complete washout for them. But if they can sort that out, they will be far more of a threat.
Yeah, I think they're on the doorstep, right? They're definitely on the cusp of being one of those teams that can start to push, the likes of the Limitlesses to the distance. I do think, in a region where we're going to be seeing, I think we're in a lot of regions, we're going to be seeing a pretty hectic kind of roster mania. I think they're going to be one of the ones who kind of have to hold steady, let that thing cook a little bit more, because I think we're like almost there.
All right, well, we've spoken about those teams that are no longer in the tournament. It is time to speak about the remaining 2 teams who will now duke it out for regional champion. And those are Limitless and the team we've just seen, Astronic. And I think, my immediate out the gate thought, Bromeo, is that Astronic are going to have to find at least 2 levels above where they have been.
Astronic had a very commanding performance in this last game, and they must be commended for taking that semi in the style that they did. But if you compare that to the Limitless Bonjour game, where it was Champagne Rocket League the entire way, and we had Snowy being an absolute general. And if that's the sort of form that we're seeing from Limitless going into this final, I definitely think Astronic needs to raise a game higher than they've ever played before. If you have a look at this team comparison, Limitless scores on average 1 more goal per game. And that's all you need to win one.
And whenever there's, I said this in the earlier series, when you see that win rate, and I'm quite amused. They dropped a game to Bonjour, and their win rate has collapsed from 90 to 89% Q. So they've had a little bit of a setback in the stats department. But look at that comparison. The players there, Limitless, just look incredibly strong.
Yeah, this is a team that, they've got the prestige around them, and for a good reason. On the verge of being able to finish off 2 perfect splits, winning 6 straight regionals, qualifiers, whatever you want to call these things. But I do think when you look over across the way, Astronic at time, they have looked hot. It's going to be tough. It definitely feels like the striking is going to be where it's like most important. So if you can maybe catch, Bayerchu really setting fire here, I think that's going to be their best chance.
And then there was a record set yesterday in MENA, and I'm feeling poorly because I didn't write down the name and now I can't remember it. But he became the first player in the world to triple crown 3 times. And
TRK.
Thank you very much. And And now Snowy has the opportunity today to equal that record, to have 3 triple crowns in the RLCS. So he'll be keen for that stat. And I mean, on paper here, they should be taking it down, but will they? And well, let's start with the voice of chat. Chat can go ahead and start giving us your vote. Who is going to take this? Hashtag LMT, hashtag ASTR, Limitless, or Astronic. And we'll see how that balances out. From looking at chat during that last series, I do think we have a bunch of Astronic fans in the chat, so I'm sure they'll get support from there. But when it comes to the desk, those that are here, you had a great day on Friday, Bromeo. Today not so going much. So well for you. So I'm going to go to you first and get you to your prediction first.
Well, there can only be one, and Limitless are looking very imperious at this point in time. So I've got to say, if I want to get my ducks in a row and get my picks sorted once more, it has to be Limitless.
All right, Limitless for the Bromeo, the in resident statistician analyst, and then Q. How your feelings?
I mean, I hate to be the guy that's going to probably set up for the sweep on the desk, but it's Limitless, man. It looks like that they're going to continue to roll. And that's no knock to Astronic. I mean, you've been looking good, Astronic. I think you are getting close, but I think there's so much on the line for Limitless. They want to prove that tourist season truly has come to an end. Give me Limitless in 5.
Q, what you've just said, back in my in an industry I used to work in speaking, that's called the compliment sandwich, where you give the compliment, but the meat in the middle is a bit of a smack. It's like, yeah, it was pretty good, but and you're probably accurate in that. And 75% of chat are liking Limitless for the grand final, 25% for Astronic. And I went against Limitless against Bonjour. I was very keen for the upset then. I don't think it happened, so I'm going to back Limitless myself to win. So we have a desk sweep, which is the safest a desk sweep ever is with Limitless, to be fair, it has to be said. But very quickly, Q, your series score.
I think it's 5. I think Astronic finds a way to catch 1, but I don't think it's more than that. I think it's in 5.
And how about you, Bromeo?
I'd hate to disagree with that. The way Limitless is playing, I definitely see a victory, but not a sweep. So I would say in 5 as well.
All right, 4-1 there. I'm going to go for, why not, a 6-game win for Limitless. Astronic will do better against Limitless than they ever have. Take 1 extra game, but we're going to find out right now. This is the grand final for Open Qualifier number 3. Let's go, Commandos. It's howling time.
Howling time indeed, and it's been more than a year since Snowy has lost his last grand final in SSA. Can Astronic bring this Herculean task and actually fell down Limitless? Pyro, let's find out.
I'm ready as ever, and I think the players are as well. Limitless. And you mentioned Snowy. It's been a year. I don't remember when he hasn't made a grand finals, if ever. So he is definitely in his home territory. Happy to be here, but tested nonetheless. He'll be the first to register a save.
Tested nonetheless. This Astronic side, one of the very few that hold the accolade in SSA of actually taking a game of Limitless, only joined by Young Money Clan, Schmongolia, and most recently Bonjour. So they certainly have what it takes to win 1. The question is, and we've said that before in the Bonjour series, can you do the marathon against Limitless?
Marathon includes some sprints in between. That was quite the defensive stop to make against Sweaty's steep angle on the double tap, but how about the dive for straight to the net as well? Firejou with the save, Mario with the save. The blocks are in sequence, one after the other, and necessary for Astronic.
Blocks are coming out, necessary as you say. as Limitless is putting on the pressure. Sweaty flip reset, tries to use it, fakes the blast by Richu, and Yellow can get one to die for, keeps it up in the sky. Triple commit on the side of Astronic, but it works out for the Spaniards.
It's the good and the bad, the yin and the yang right now for Astronic. It's the fact that, yes, they can deny these shots against Limitless and prevent somehow. That one, not really to their credit, just misfiring on the part of Limitless. They can give way to these shots, yet can they convert attempts themselves on this defensive stance that they've been mustering here? Can they convert on an attack?
That's the big question, and the problem is they won't have many looks at target, so they need to be as accurate as ever if they want to have any chance against the Limitless here. It's been an onslaught in the opening 2 minutes from the regionals champion, well, from the team that's going to Copenhagen at least to represent Sub-Saharan Africa. And yet Astronic are trying to spoil the party of the flawless major split.
I4. How about the flight here? Air dribble double tap straight to the net. It's taken away. And Bayerchu will get a clear here that Sweaty meets. It's wayward of the net as in Yellow still there to stop it away. You mentioned Copenhagen, and you talk about Astronic wanting to spoil the party of a flawless effort. Talk about Limitless though. I mean, they want to be in top form moving into an international stage, and that's going to be they have to showcase that here.
Well, they certainly do. They have to just show that they're as dominant as ever over the region. They had a bit of stiffer competition, I feel like, this time around. Overall, the region, developing the region is getting stronger. Limitless not cruising to easy victories no more, but still coming out on top in a decisive fashion. Right here, though, in this opening game of the grand final, they are struggling to fight the back of the net once more. That ball is wide at the second post. Snowy tries to slow play his way through, but Bayerchu is wise to it.
Astronic got to be contagious, man. Think about game one in the last series that they just played. They hit that every part of the post, could not fire it on target. It's the same thing plaguing for Limitless right now. They haven't been able to find the back of the net in moments that it's needed, but they're still on these aerial pursuits and passing plays as well. Snowy takes to the net, Bayerchu saves, and it's a counterattack that's going to clear and be in for them. Astronic breakthrough for the first goal.
And that's the one mistake Astronic needed. They held firm in defense this entire time and punished Limitless's gluttony in offense. 10 shots, 0 goals for Limitless, and the one counter that went through for Astronic. It's a late lead for the Spaniards.
This is where Limitless are their scariest, when they don't have the lead. There's 1 minute remaining, and they've got to send everybody on the attack. 45 seconds to make it happen and equalize.
45 seconds and double commit, not helping between Sweaty and To Die For. Mario looking for Agnello. Sweaty wise to the pass, cuts it out and gets a good double tap. Gains some ground here for Limitless. Die For not on target. Mario's touch up high, baiting in Sweaty, and then Snowy after that. It's brilliantly choreographed from Mario, who drives away, leaves it to Bayerchu. The pass in the middle for Yellow, not good enough. Maybe second pick at the cherry. No, Bayerchu's touch up high is simply there to waste time.
And Yellow, this team can confirm game 1 victory if they continue to stop Limitless. Single digits on the clock. Bayerchu, there's a pass off the backboard straight down into the net. I thought that ball would die on 0 seconds, but no. Bayerchu gets the clip instead for the win of Astronic.
A garbage time, but triple tap nonetheless. Bayerchu having a recipe down for Limitless. Let them come, let them overcomplicate things, and then punish when they do.
Mark, there's a discussion to be had here. You mentioned the fact that Astronic, previously Firehawks, when they did get that game win against Limitless, it was back in the Swiss stage, and it was actually in a best of 5. They won in game number 1. We actually talked to Snowy later on when he went on to win in the grand finals, that qualifier, and he mentioned this fact. we don't really scrim the teams that are playing, from another continent, he talks about. So he's like, that higher ping play, it's probably that reason that we weren't able to adjust to it accordingly and lost in that first game. Do you see this as a replicated effort, Mock? Do you see this as, okay, let's again have to warm up against a high ping team and they'll take it the rest of the series?
I feel like it's partly that, and the fact of the matter is, though, that Limitless pretty much beat themselves by overcomplicating their offense. They tried to be very, very fancy with it. A lot of high aerial infield passes instead of keeping it to the ground, instead of trying to pick your shot wisely. It was almost a bit too loose, and that's the sort of maybe natural arrogance that comes with being a dominating force for so long. But that arrogance needs to be left by the wayside, because clearly Astronic have shown that they are more than capable on defense, and they are also capable to find that one opening to make Limitless bleed.
Well, good job, Mock. You didn't take my bait. You're
I totally did
right.
not. I was not falling for it.
Well, Limitless, you're right. They had beaten themselves, but they're not going to do that this time around. They find the ball between the uprights.
Finally, a quick little counter-attack, and to die for is not going to double tap that with the back, but he's just going to go for a straight shot on target. 100 kph and 1-0 at the near post. That's more like the Limitless that we're used to.
It's interesting in the semifinals for Limitless. They won the series 4-1, but every single game was won by a single goal. So it's not as if this 1-goal lead is going to be uncomfortable for the team. They're happy to have a lead, even if it's just that. But, of course, Astronic proving that it's going to be difficult for them to hold that lead as their attack is progressing.
Astronic is still trying to be an active participant. They probably realized that they were living on borrowed time in game one, trying to be a bit more active, meeting Limitless, more face on. To die for, having to evade one challenge, gets the control, gets a pass a second as well. There's a demo to die for, does it all by himself, but Snowy pads his stats.
There's nothing more Limitless than this team abandoning the ball and going for the demolition instead. The off-the-ball play is at times more impressive for Limitless than on the balls to die for. Flicks past one and demos the other.
Flicks and demos, bread and butter, of course, for Limitless. How can Astronic even respond? Mario, certainly not like that. Teeing up the opposition, teeing up Snowy, and he will find a second for himself.
We talk about awakening the beast. Once you beat Limitless in a game, they tend to amp up the pressure and turn things in their favor. Nothing else being done here at the start of game number 2.
Nothing else here. 3 goals inside a minute and a half in favor of Limitless, and they certainly won't be stopping. Snowy looking for a tight angle shot of the double. Not finding it, but to die for doesn't care about it. He's already taken control in the midfield. Do not let Astronic out of their own half. Do not let them breathe. That is the mantra of Limitless.
Doing a good job of suffocating that pressure and to die for. Incredible work to read the shot from Byrachu, the resident striker of Astronic. Denying him will continue to be a test. And in yellow, let's find this ball outside to the corner. Byrachu in pursuit of it now. And is the first to get to it, but not a touch on the ball. Not read the bounce off the corner quite well. Mario out to in yellow. It's taken away by Byrachu, quite the lane to take the shot to the top left corner. There it is for Astronic.
And the star striker, he strikes again. Perfect placement. Top left. You can't put it more top. You can't put it more left. And Sweaty had absolutely zero chance to get to it. Astronic find a goal, not on the counter, but out of open play.
In a matchup where both teams struggled in their early series of the semifinals to hit their shots, shot placement is going to be a paramount factor for both teams. So Byrachu landing top corner for that shot is so important to get this team started, try to get some headway in this game.
But that headway needs to be earned and fought for continuously against the Limitless side that is now pressing once more to have that 3-goal lead re-established. Mario ceiling pinch gonna land in the waiting hands of Sweaty. His first touch though, letting him down to die for. Still taking control for Limitless, faking it past one, gets good 50-50 against Mario. And no follow-up though, a 4 to die for.
Yeah, but look at the work that had been done, right? Beat 2 defenders there just on the air dribble. Those first challenges, they're quick for Astronic and they're necessary because if you give to die for more time, certainly make you pay. When he clears this high, doesn't want an immediate shot on net, and he's been able to expend the boost of 2 as Astronic both climb. Do that take. Firechu still though off the side wall, putting this mid, but no teammates yet to take the shot. No way with Mario to deal with as Mario pre-jumps the dunk. Astronic will do anything to keep this attack alive.
Strike certainly are trying to be a bit cheeky here against Limitless, trying to meet them earlier, trying to give them less time on the ball. And Yellow, long clear. But Byrichu already demoed. Sweaty, does he have the read? Yes, he does. What an important read it was. And Yellow already waiting behind. Astronic looking for the opening, but not finding it. Once more, the backboard kept clean by Snowy, but Mario is there. And Mario will put the deficit at only 1.
Oh man, these high lobs in front of the net have not been working out for Limitless. I mean, that's still a decent clear from Snowy, but the quick transition from Astronic leads me to believe that that second goal may not have been their last in this game.
Second goal certainly going to breathe some life into Astronic, breathe some belief into Astronic that they can actually come back here, but they have not a lot of time to work with. To die for, already Skybound and Yellow waiting, floating, bumped away, and Sweaty tools to tap in.
The die for says, oh, 1v1, right? Yeah, I got this. No problem. Goodbye at Yellow, and hello, 4th goal for Limitless.
Hello, 4th goal, and hopefully for Limitless, the dagger in the resistance has been put on by Astronic as they try for another Spanish kickoff. This time not connecting with the demolition to die for, waiting Mario's pre-jump. Snowy taking control, but still, Astronic certainly are trying. Sweaty off his own backboard. Gets it to the side, gets it out, gets it central even. Sweaty doing a lot of work, gaining a lot of space around the pitch, and that might be all that it was needed from him. Byrichu can't save it out. Snowy to make absolutely certain what we all knew before. Limitless are going to equalize the series.
A bookending performance here from Limitless. You see these last 2 goals in the waning seconds of game number 2, but the start of the game, high-powered offense from Limitless, unrelenting, and they do indeed tie it up in the series. Mock, we've got at least a game number 5.
Limitless tie it up, and that was, well, partly, I would say, more of the performance that we expected from Limitless. It was ruthless, it was efficient in offense, and it was just playing good.
It's playing good. Sometimes that's what it needs to be. When your game number 1 was leaving more to be desired, right? Those shots just not hitting between the uprights. So yeah, going back to the fundamentals, I fully agree here, Mocked, was the idea for Limitless, and they do just that. We've got to talk a little bit about to die for in this game, because although they tied for the most shots on the team, 4 assists in this game, it's the air dribbles, it's the bumps, it's the pressure off the ball from Limitless, especially from to die for, that is making this offense work.
100% goal participation. Every successful Limitless attack running via to die for. I mean, and let's not forget Snowy stole one of his goals where he 1v3'd Astronic in his solo play effort. So, yeah, to die for, pretty good game. The question for me, though, is, and the one thing that I'm slightly worried on the side of Limitless for is that dip after the 3-0 lead. They, again, that arrogance came through. They thought they were too secure. They gave Astronic an opening, and Astronic was more than happy to use that opening. Limitless need to ensure that they are on it every single second of the game. Astronic are just waiting for those little lapse in concentration, it seems.
That's right, and there's no better concentration for Limitless to have than after being beaten. I mean, that's what fired them up to get those 3 goals immediately into game number 2. So as we get into game number 3, maybe they need to feel like they've been punched back again. So Astronic did find those 2 goals in that last game. In search of the first, though, is Limitless. First 30 seconds, and they're still on the prowl.
Still on the prowl, but again, Astronic is keeping the back line clean, and BioTrue having a speed advantage. Sweaty getting a crucial bump there. Again, though, it's a loose ball in front of nets from Snowy this time. Luckily for Limitless, Astronic not able to punish the pass, intercept the pass. A little bit too obvious there in this instance.
Ooh, Snowy leaves this for to die for. Is Mario still around for it? There's a demolition on the Sweaty. Snowy is called to action. Does not want to allow Astronic to 2v1 on that counter attack. Sweaty with a light touch to keep this ball close to them. A little bit of boost still in the tank there for that attack, but Mario all the way down the line to die for ensures that there's no follow-up immediately.
No follow-up immediately, but there comes BioTrue. He drops it down on yellow against the crossbar. Accuracy issues continue to blight Astronic.
Oh, and yellow. Yeah, that's one you're going to want back here. The question is if they'll even get that chance. They're falling prey once again to the Limitless offensive rotation that keeps this ball in your half. That makes you suffocated in your own end. However, they do break through. And then yellow presses forward towards the net again to die for on the 50. BioTrue is prepared for a touch, but I don't know if it was that one that they wanted. Pinch from Agnello puts this ball to the midfield. Sweaty immediately with the shot. The follow closer from Snowy. He gets the bump, but not the shot.
At least he can delay the counterattack a tiny bit, and that has just bought enough time for his comrades in arms to die for. Now taking a quick little peek at goal, and yellow already there. And being kept honest, though, is that defense of Astronic.
Isn't this reminiscent of a game we had earlier in this series where there was no scoring for quite some time, and then Astronic pulled through with the first and potentially only goal?
And who else but BioTrue, Sweaty having to avoid a bump as well. That certainly played on his mind there. Astronic take the lead in game number 3 and are trying to put pain and misery onto the faces of Limitless.
Ooh, to die for, no, past 1. And if that's on target, they immediately tie it up. If this is on target, we have a 2-goal lead, but either go. Close calls for both teams.
Well, let's be thankful that Rocket League isn't played in ifs and buts, but in the present and in the active tense. Where, well, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that ball is between the sticks, between the uprights, and yellow. Great save against an oncoming Sweaty, but lacks boost now. Can he still get it to BioTrue? No, to die for intercepts.
I can appreciate how Astronic are becoming aware of that Limitless strategy. Again, to leave the ball and go strictly for that bump play. Snowy had the pass on the backboard, went for the bump on the goal line, and reinforcements were immediately called to action to make sure that save occurred. So there is that vision from Astronic. Can they take away this give and go? Of course, and yellow does. But look at this, Snowy, the 50 that sets us right back in the danger zone. A clear there for BioTrue after they give their life for it.
Clear away from Astronic, and once more Snowy's awkward. Sweaty to bail him out from danger. BioTrue taking control, but not getting a second touch off the ceiling. Mario, the great demolition there to die for. Buying some space for Astronic. They only have a minute left to survive. Can they keep it up in defense? Snowy, beaten by yellow.
Die for from the backboard. There it is, the touch out to Sweaty that's necessary. Mario was in position to cut it away, knew where the pass was coming. Mario now at a 50-50 against to die for, but to die for will not allow himself to be beaten there. Snowy, a few touches here, send it across the way, and now starting on the possession that they need.
Is that what they need? That is what Limitless need. There's one little rogue touch there from Sweaty past both Mario and BioTrue, and that a little bit of cheekiness is all that was needed. Sweaty sticking around and making Astronic sweat.
There you go. Are we overtime bound? Not if there's a kickoff goal. Oh boy, we are remaining tense here. The final 30 seconds, the yellow on a 1v1. Solid 50-50, wraps it around the backboard. There's the second touch across the net. Nobody to follow though, as that just goes across the face of the goal too quickly. Pass there to the form from Sweaty for the go-ahead of Limitless.
A Limitless, Paul, a Limitless. Cool, calm, and collected in the face of adversity. They don't panic when they have only 30 seconds left and are 1-0 behind. They're just gonna shoot 2 quick little goals. And now, what can Astronic bring after the kickoff? It's another kickoff variant. It's another one that doesn't work against Limitless. Sweaty kills the ball. Limitless lead in the series.
Oh, if you blinked and you missed it. You missed the last 40 seconds where Limitless decided to play ball and get these goals to go. Again, it's the lethality of these counterattacks. You noticed that Snowy off the sidewall on a couple beats was what started the possession to score the first goal of Sweaty to die for. But then the last effort was Sweaty again there on the sidewall, found to die for in the midfield for the strike. It takes Astronic being vigilant of these efforts, especially on the counters, to deny them before they fall behind.
And I feel like that's a bit of a problem with Astronic's setup here against Limitless. They are trying something that they usually don't do. They are the last team I would think of when it comes to turtling up in defense. And they're trying this strategy against Limitless, which evidently can work. And Limitless is struggling to play against a team that is so passive. But at the same time, Limitless is still not making enough mistakes for Astronic to properly punish. So I feel like maybe, just maybe, Astronic needs a tiny switch up back to their roots.
Maybe. Yeah, force Limitless out of that rhythm and get some more chances on target. They've been efficient. That was 2 goals, excuse me, 1 goal off of 3 shots, but maybe getting more opportunities to get those shots on target and take Limitless out of their rhythm is necessary as game number 4 is here.
Game number 4 is upon us, and Limitless want to make it to match point. Snowy faking it for to die for. Shot is good, but Mario's better on the goal line in his box, keeping that one out. Still though, Limitless a push forward, trying to stamp the authority on game 4 early.
Come close to it, but in yellow, a long clear to stabilize for a moment, but maybe it's Mario to swing the seesaw in their favor. Snowy called to action there with the save, and yellow off the corner, and Mario with full tank of boost. Does he have a second touch? He does to beat Sweaty, but it's just off the ceiling yet again. Pirachu beaten on the effort there from Snowy, and now in yellow. Back on the ball, Snowy gets a demo across the field, so the counter could be a chance as Sweaty is going to get the pass off to die for. Carries this to the corner, and Limitless have turned this around.
Limitless turned this around. It's a smart touch from to die for to the corner, keeping possession rather than gifting it away to Astronic. Now Sweaty reaping the results maybe of what to die for originally. Sue. There's nothing to be gained. Already Astronic have broken out, and there's a cheeky shot at target. Sweaty fishes it out off the top corner.
Well, it's just the first minute here. Sweaty, close shot, and oh no, it's not enough time for Yellow to get out of the back of the net. The follow-up is just too quick from to die for.
It's a great redirect as well from Snowy, putting it on target, putting Yellow under a lot of pressure to get the perfect touch. And when you don't get that touch, to die for is ready to follow it up. There's the lead for Limitless, a lead they so desperately crave.
Speaks to the cohesion here of Limitless. Always having each other's backs and being ready for that consecutive play. Snowy, wants to challenge Mario, but what clearance given? On the other side, the turnaround, which immediately punishes Limitless.
Overzealousness of Limitless. Mario gets the long boom downfield on Yellow to finish it in. And we are all square. That's so easy. You can lose the lead if you're Limitless.
Mario, by the way, I mean, we've spoken about the role of this player, but He is the resident playmaker of the team, always putting his teammates in position to score, even if it's on his side of the backboard.
Always looking for your teammate is Mario. He's got the most assists on the side of Astronic. He's going to get one more, but I doubt even he thought that this was going to be an assist. Byrachu finds the singular perfect angle.
There's some calculations being made on where on the ceiling the ball needs to touch. It was a clear there from Mario that got so much distance, and now it's Byrachu cross court. Limitless, they need a fourth player just to guard the net at all times because they never know when it's going to wrap around against them.
Simple fact of the matter is, Limitless being a bit too aggressive in their positioning, trying to keep that pressure alive, and Astronic is catching them off guard, something that you rarely see. But there is Sweaty, and he has eaten good today. Simply too thick to be removed.
Oh, that is dirty. We've been kind of waiting for Sweaty to come online, become active, and he's been absolutely an important factor in this Limitless drive, but the singular effort to get past defender after defender to tie the game, that's sweet.
Tie up the game after a big mistake, and maybe a second one here. Snowy looking for a bump to die for shot. Saved by Yellow, but a double commit on the goal line is going to have trouble written all over it for Astronic if it wasn't for Byrachu slowing things down and taking control.
Now it's to die for, wants to challenge in Yellow, but in Yellow the better of it. Oh, demolition onto Mario, pass out to Sweaty. Sweaty up to the backboard, wants the ball off the backboard once again. Snowy dives in and lunges for the shot, but can't quite get the touch necessary. These counters, this is the scary part for Limitless. Gotta get that recovery in position, get the defense at the ready here. And to die for, called to the ball as Snowy kind of an awkward landing with the ball. Here comes Sweaty and to die for once again. This was the magic of that final goal from Limitless, but it will be staved off this time.
Will be staved off, but Sweaty already there. Flip reset over to die for the back post, but he's too far back. He cannot find the angle to get the goal for Limitless. In the meantime, counterattack already well defended. Sweaty keeping it a bit deeper in his positioning as third, respecting the long booming clears out of Astronic, knowing what danger they can cause. But Snowy does not care about Astronic's danger on offense. He'd rather make them pay in defense. Sweaty misses the double tap.
Gotta wonder if Astronic are even worried about playing all this defense. It's off of the defensive plays that they've scored. And it's clears like that again, where to die for has to make a very precise play on the backboard to get it away from the danger zone. Mario, oh, that is a shaky pass to the midfield, Limitless. You're putting Astronic in the position to get a chance to score. To die for, make sure they get in front of that shot, though, with the final 20 of regulation.
Final 20 seconds and we're still all squared. Sweaty, can he do something about that? Tries to double tap his way through, but Byrachu stands his ground on the backboard. And Yellow to follow it out from his own half. Mario again quickest to the ball. Double commit between Sweaty and Snowy. He's gonna have some trouble for Limitless potentially, but to die for sweeps in. And we have overtime in game 4.
This is the overtime that Astronic thought they had last game before Limitless scored at the last second. Or one of the last seconds, so on this play, they're going to make every opportunity count. Mario, what a play to traject that ball towards the net. And this time it's going to be Byrachu to play this intelligently, not allow a Limitless chance at the net.
And that bump, especially on to die for, very, very smart indeed from Byrachu. Astronic now trying to establish a presence in that blue half. Snowy cutting it out early, getting a cheeky little double tap with the ground, gaining some yardage underneath him. Sweaty has a look at goal. Sweaty has been almost too direct in some of his approaches. Always a defender of Astronic, more than ready to deal with him.
That's right. They've got their eye on Snowy. shield at all times here. They may have to once again. It's Sweaty this time, top corner. But Byrachu knows how to place the ball there too. Knows how to defend it just as well. Byrachu picks up a pad but can't get in front of the touch there from Sweaty. Sweaty's the one that's become active in this game. Number 4, you expect maybe for him to be that X factor for Limitless.
Possibly look at Sweaty though as well, because Sweaty is gonna boo it. It's a 3-2. It's an overtime victory for Limitless.
To Die For says, hey Sweaty, I love the pass for the winning goal in the last game. Why don't I dish you up the same? Limitless, another duo effort to get the win. And that is such an important win. They're now on match point here for the grand finals. And of course, Mock, the Astronic are called to make that timeout.
Immediate call from Astronic to get that timeout. And to be fair to them, it's a good position just to get everything sorted, just to reset everything in the balance, maybe even perhaps a little bit in their favor. They are giving a Limitless a run for the money. The problem is they are facing down 15 shots in this game, and if you let Limitless shoot 15 times, the chances of you winning that game are exceedingly low.
Yet, can we talk about something, because it's the reason for the barrage of shots that Astronic scored in the first place. I mean, remember the first 2 goals? It was off those monumental counter plays. You have Mario teeing up them both, and then Byrachu with that long clear. It's difficult to rely on that play style, right, Mike? Because you're always under pressure. But those have been the moments where Limitless have been punished.
Those have been the moment because Limitless, of course, know that they are... I think it's safe to say that Limitless know, or think at least, that they are the faster team, that they can cause more damage on offense. And they are... sort of Astronic are trying to use that against them, right? Where they're baiting you forward. They're trying to say, oh, look, they're sort of dangling the goal in front of you. And it's like, oh, look, you want a goal? Come here, take it. But you better watch out. A long clear is always coming.
Yeah, and it's worth mentioning as well, this isn't typically Astronic's point of view or strategy. I mean, it has worked against Limitless, right? We're talking about 1 goal off of 3 shots in the game before this. That is now 2 goals, I think, of maybe 4 registered shots in that last game. It's just a difficult strategy to rely on to be that efficient on the goal scoring. They want more chances for Byrachu and Mario, the duo that has put them in this grand finals position to work their magic on offense. They just need to give their own team that chance.
They just need that own chance for themselves. They might have only 1 more game in this grand final to give themselves those kind of chances. It's match point number 1 for Limitless. Can they convert immediately?
Ooh, you asked, and Snowy just jumped over the ball there off of the kickoff. He almost spoke it into action, as we rarely do here in the caster's booth. But a couple demolitions will begin an explosive start here to game number 5.
Indeed, an explosive start, and a start that, well, Astronic certainly hope they can somehow edge their way. Mario looking for the tight angle, nearly finding it. To Die For was not ready, and how could he be? That would have been a sensational goal from the Spaniard.
I mean, these as well aren't rare, surprising touches coming out from Mario either. In the semifinals match, probably had the goal of the match off the double tap from the ceiling. Even previously in this series has come close to a sidewall double. Mario behind the ball. Again, these are the chances they're trying to give their own team. Hold on. Close shot there to Die For. Setting up Sweaty, and that's going to corral right in the net.
Prospect panic in the box. First a single commit from a yellow, and then the undeniable double commit from Astronic. A Sweaty placer over the heads and into top bins. Limitless take an early lead in game number 5.
Another reason why Astronic do not want to rely on all this defense, because you can get into that panic mode like you mentioned. Oh, and Limitless, I mean, that is their bread and butter. Making you pay there. Sitting ducks on the goal line. They're looking to get Astronic back in that situation, but in yellow, turning this around. Pass out to Mario. This take is high, but Bayerchu has that follow-up, and Mario's close by as well. Wants to see the ball on the way to the net.
And sort of Mario's sheer presence almost causes the panic there for Limitless, because they don't know that he's on 0 boost. They think he's floating, trying to get some shenanigans, trying to get the redirect. And that could be sort of a deflection tactic that they could be using for Astronic, as there's no flip reset for Bayerchu, but no good clear out of Limitless either. And yellow punches it in.
Bayerchu, normally the striker, but for good reason sets up these chances. You can see the prowess in the air. The flip reset, as you said, was never enacted, but the damage done for the equalizer of Astronic.
Damage done. Hopefully for Astronic, they can find some momentum with that goal and try to make Limitless sweat. Bayerchu taking control, having 50 boost to his name. Mario finds a good little demo in the backfield, and yellow has an opportunity, but Sweaty, not one challenge, but a crucial second one to deny any sort of Astronic pressure.
And then immediately diving into the ball there is Snowy. So this is Limitless just trying to turn it on its head here. Even when they are sweating, as we mentioned, on the back line. They want to counter it immediately. Tough there from Sweaty, who's on 0 boost. Has to trail back down. Bayerchu finds this ball, and Mario lurking right behind him, ready to get that follow-up, and there it is. High off the backboard. Sweaty with a read on the backboard. No, it's not there, and then yellow takes full advantage.
And yellow swooping in once more as the third head of the Hydra, and punched it in over Sweaty, who just simply, I believe, ran out of boost for that read. Astronic from 0-1 make it 2-1.
Gotta talk about the clinicality right now from Yellow. I mean, yes, it is Bayerchu Mario again and again, putting the ball in the position to take shots just like that from Bayerchu. But again, who's going to actually hit the net? Whether it's the top corner or that last shot that we saw there from Yellow, it has been that player. And so it's the one to take the lead here, but Sweaty with the flip reset. We don't like to see that lead. Let's bring it right on back.
And Sweaty stealing a play out of the Astronic playbook. Supreme efficiency on offense. Twice he shot on net, and twice he scored. Sweaty keeping Limitless in it almost single-handedly.
Talk about a redemption goal there. It was Sweaty that missed the backboard read this time. They weren't going to miss the scoop on the flip reset. To die for, no bump on the Mario, who does trail this ball towards Bayerchu. Bayerchu wanted to keep that ball closer than he did. The first touch was just a bit too heavy-handed, but how about the redirect there from To Die For, testing Mario on defense. Bayerchu in pursuit of that sidewall double, does get it towards the net. Follow-up just there, wide, luckily for Limitless.
Limitless playing with fire here on defense, not really threatening or not really challenging the player of Astronic with ball possession. Now they're going to be more active once more. To Die For has Sweaty in support. It's a quick little 1-2 between the two players, and it's a 1-2 that's going to work wonders. Hat-trick hero Sweaty takes Limitless to the lead.
3 for 3 is Sweaty when somebody needs to be activated the most for Limitless. To Die For, by the way, so smart off the corner. Didn't barrel that pass. Oh, but they're going to barrel this shot. Wait, To Die For pushes into Snowy. Almost a pull shot for a 2-goal lead.
Almost a pull shot after the kickoff, but still Astronic survive. Snowy running some time off in the midfield with consecutive challenges. Sweaty and To Die For once more trying to combine themselves forward and cause some damage and cause some havoc. Sweaty jumping in, but Mario quickest to the loose ball. Snowy now alone on his backside, deals with it rather beautifully.
This last effort here from Astronic. They want to keep this grand finals alive. Mario, it's been that assist machine, needs to find a lane for this team to score on. Instead, it's Snowy off the backboard. Wants the shot, but Bayerchu sends it wayward. Back to the middle of the field, and Snowy, he's playing keep the ball away from Astronic. It's the last effort. Byrachu, the ball alive, and Yellow, the shot on target. Sweaty, who's 3 for 3 on the shot taking, puts the ball away, and to die for the final touch. That is Limitless, your top team of the SSA region, the one that will be going to the major with a 3rd regional victory.
Limitless go flawless in open qualifiers 1, 2, and 3. A perfect sweep from Limitless, equaling TRK's record of going 3 consecutive splits without a loss.
It's a 3-1, 4-1 victory. But I have to say this, guys, is I have never seen Limitless dangle out hope to an opposition like they did in this series, because, and I'm being overly generous there, because I loved the fight that Astronic brought to Limitless, and they took the opening game, and they had proper leads for long periods of leads in games 2 and 3. But Limitless, as they so often do, find a way to go above, step it up, and do what they have to do to win. But there were so many times in my mind, Pyro, that it looked like Astronic were going to take games.
For good reason. I mean, there's a reason they made it here to the grand finals. They have really figured out a rhythm of this attack. The reason I think that they weren't able to get right over that edge was because they didn't get enough chances on offense. I mean, how about the Limitless pressure, right? I want to get a stat on the shots per game here, or at least the differential against Astronic, because it was overwhelming.
Yeah, and I don't know for you, Machtfish, if there was a consummate team effort from Limitless, or were there standout performances in terms of any individual on the roster?
I feel like all 3 of them fired up. They needed a bit of time to adjust after game 1, but once they hit their groove, you could see that they were there. Granted, I think this performance from Limitless was worse than what we've seen in the semi-finals against Bonjour, but that's also due to the dynamic of how the match worked. Bonjour much more eager to meet Limitless head-on, Astronic sitting a bit deeper, trying to soak up a lot more pressure, and that's naturally inviting Limitless to play a bit more offensively and play a bit more wasteful, honestly.
All right. Well, you mentioned in the close, Machtfish mentioned in the close that Snowy has equal TRK's record in terms of triple crowns. I mean, Snowy is without a doubt the most successful player in this region. I was going to say that the region's ever had, but it's there hasn't been a long enough history for that to have a deeper significance. But certainly, any way you look at it, within a region, Pyro, that record is incredible. And Snowy is he's a little bit cagey on the question of, is this your last season? Will you carry on? but either way, he has a place in the Hall of Fame.
Listen, I think the reason that he's found so much success, because I mean, you can talk about the talent of the player himself, but I think realistically, it's the flexibility to take different roles. I would say early on in SSA's history of RLCS, Snowy was, the guy you look to make the plays, to take the shots. This is really a selfless nature that he's taken up with, as he has teammates up to die for, and Sweaty, who went 3 for 3 in the last game to pull Limitless ahead in this grand finals. It was Sweaty. And who's the MVP again and again on the stat sheet? It's to die for. So Snowy really plays the role that is necessary for the win. That's the real mark of a champion.
Yeah, I mean, you use the word selfless, and I don't know that is entirely the case with Snowy, but you are correct in saying he understands what is needed to win, and he will do that, because that is his overarching drive and ambition to be a winner. All right, so we are going to have an interview. I know we were trying to convince Sweaty to get in here for the interview. I don't know that those negotiations have been successful, but while we put in a last minute offer on the table. We are going to have a look at the driver of the day, voted by everyone in chat. Those of you who went and voted, your driver of the day, who's had the most impact, who's been a standout player for the day. And for today, on Championship Sunday, semi-final 1 and 2 into the grand finals, as voted for by chat, the driver of the day is Snowy. Well, there you go. Your immediate thoughts on that? Would you? And it's good to see him there, because we were just talking about Sweaty's performance today and the fact that To Die For often pads the stats in a way that he's always at the top of the log. But Machtfish, your thoughts on Snowy?
I'd say any one of the three from Limitless definitely deserved it today. I don't think that any other players really went up to their level. So I'm honestly out of Snowy, To Die For, or Sweaty. It's really close to me, but Snowy has been taking himself back, like Pyro said, has been trying to be a bit more of an enabler for To Die For and Sweaty, and sometimes that role needs to be appreciated as well, and that role is certainly appreciated here with Drive of the Day.
Excellent. And Pyro, well, let me ask you this, and I failed 2 days in a row now to ask the casters who their driver of the day was before we revealed this, but I don't know if you had in mind a driver of the day.
No, I didn't, actually.
Okay.
And again, I've watched all three matches very closely. I think truly the theme of this qualifier, if you want to separate it from the other ones, was really resiliency from Limitless. I think they were the most battle tested in this qualifier than any other. Think back to Swiss, where they had the reverse sweep against Mongolia in this semifinals. Every game that was won was by 1 point. In the grand finals, 3 of the 4 wins were by 1 point. These were close games, and we're not always used to that. And to any newcomers of the region as well, you know, when they're like, oh, Limitless won again. Oh, Limitless won again. You really got to look at the games and how they happen and how Limitless really do pull together these wins. So again, when we do look at Snowy as the driver of the day, I not only see that from on the field perspective, but I see it as a leadership role as well. Through all that resiliency, how do you still calm the nerves of your team and push forward?
So we'll tread now into slightly controversial waters, because without question the big talking point of the entire split has been the region issue. A lot of we talk a lot about the EU teams, and we have to, because it's mostly EU teams that have been here. But we've seen MENA, we've seen for reasons I'm yet to understand, a couple of North American teams, but
I don't have an answer for you there.
But there is, and we the feelings of Limitless, and in particular Snowy, have been very clear on how he's felt about it. But Machtfish, has this been good for Limitless in terms of that drive to continue to be better than everybody else? Has this forced them up a little bit?
It certainly threatens to still, and we still don't know, because what's happening in Major 2, right? That's still a book it's a Pandora's box that needs to be opened first. But certainly Limitless, they were asking for competition for a long time. I know Snowy was asking for competition on Twitter for a long time. They finally got it, and they still rose to the top, and that's just credit to, I believe, their work ethic. I personally subscribe to the notion that Limitless is one of the most professionally working teams in the entire RLCS, NA, EU, every region included. They are relentless, and it's even more so because they are already, and that's what we've seen through Split 1, they're already a step above the rest of the region, be it teams playing from EU, be it teams playing from SSA. Yes, they're tested from time to time, but they have that mark of the top team that even when it gets close, they have that resilience and that drive to just push through adversity. And that is really something special and something utterly professional, and something that I truly admire about them.
All right, and a great point, and very well made, Machtfish. Thank you for that. And So my feelings on this have wavered and gone up and down and gone from one extreme to the other throughout all of this. But where I lie now is, and I hope we get to see, we've touched on this point, that we get to see a few more mixed teams in the next split. And over the last couple of days, I've actually been in touch. An EU coach reached out to me, and he was like, he would really like to get involved in SSA and maybe pick up a team to coach. And we've been going back and forth on that. And then he said maybe it might actually be a great idea for him to come and play here, but pick up 2 SSA players, like prospective players. So not come here to try and make, day 2, day 3 grand finals, but pick up 2 SSA players who have great prospects and kind of nurture them and take them forward. And I just love that idea, Pyro, and I think that would be epic.
I mean, we're seeing the new talent from just about every region make a new theme out of RLCS. So you really do have to pay attention to that new generation at every single season, and more motivation around that, I think, is a good thing. I'm feeling a little bit motivated to get this interview underway, Greybeard, and I think we're just about there.
We are just about there, and the reason I'm kind of waffling on here is I've got production in my ears saying we're almost ready. We're just checking audio. We just so when production is good and ready, we'll get going. But we do. We're going to take a chance. I've just been told by production. Hopefully the audio's good. So we didn't get sweaty, but so we do have for the interview to die for. To die for. What's up?
Yes.
we can hear you wonderfully there. Yeah. All right. So did the day off yesterday help you guys along today?
I mean, didn't really affect us much. To be honest, I would have preferred to play yesterday. I was like waiting, and I said to watch. I like playing, so obviously I wish I could have played. But yeah, I had other things that I did, so it was pretty productive still.
Well,
I mean, obviously, yeah, you just wanted to play yesterday. Unfortunately, didn't. But you got to play today, and it was 2 quite close series. Did you expect Bonjour and Astronic to push you as far as they did?
To be honest, I mean, anything can happen. But like, if I'm gonna be completely honest, I didn't expect that. But I think that's mostly just from our side. So Chase with me today. Yeah.
That's fair. On the day, though, still wins. And what's it? You mentioned shakiness. We talk about how close these games have been to die for. I mean, we mentioned it earlier. All 4 games in the semifinals, won by 1 point. 3 of the 4 here in the grand finals were won by 1 point. It was even a reverse sweep back in Swiss against Mongolia that you guys had to do. Did this qualifier feel like it was a whole lot closer? Like there was more pressure, or was this just another win for Limitless?
To die for. Before you answer that, put your mic a little bit closer to your mouth.
All right.
There you go. Rock and roll. Now answer Pyro's question.
You may have to repeat that question, please.
Yeah, so it's just been a lot of close games this region to die for. So I was wondering if it felt like this was the most pressure you guys have had in a qualifier or regional, or if this felt like just another win for Limitless.
I mean, if you look at the stats, you can definitely see games were a lot closer than usual. So I definitely think this regional was probably one of our worst ones. Speaking of the results, we lost a lot of games that we shouldn't have lost, and games were a lot closer than we want them to be. So yeah, I definitely think this regional was a little bit tougher than the other ones, but I think that's just our fault, as I said before.
All right. Well, the watchword of this whole new season has been one of uncertainty, because it was announced late, it started late, then there's been a lot of craziness around the whole regional, and now we get to the first major, and I know there's about to be logistical chaos in terms of visas and travel and all of that sort of thing. But I don't know what conversations you guys have. Assuming logistics all work well, what is the plan for major?
I mean, obviously with the new rule, whatever you can call it, with the travel where Blast only play for travel in a certain travel window. I don't think a boot camp is possible. I think it's already tight to try and get visas, so we're gonna have to like try and I'm not sure what I'm allowed to say, so I'm not gonna try to say too much. I think we're just gonna like we're gonna have to like pay an agency or something to try and get our visa quickly because we are obviously in a little bit of pickle. It's very, very close. It's gonna be very tight. So yeah, we're just hoping for the best.
Okay,
I mean,
good.
that's all you can do. But hopefully, of course, you will get to Copenhagen. Hopefully, you will play. Speaking of Copenhagen, what's your sort of idea of what's your target in Copenhagen? What's your target at land? Because you go in as the massive underdog, and it's an interesting shift because here down in SSA, you're the best, right? There's no one to touch you. But you will be coming in a 16th seed. You will probably play the first round against Carmine Corp. What's your sort of expectations for the major?
I mean, expectations wise, I don't like talking before I play, but I'm just gonna at least I know for myself, and I think my team is always gonna take it step by step. Obviously, we haven't really beaten or like got a land win against a major region team like that is not SSA or like maybe OCE, EU, and them. So that's just probably the plan. First, take a series of a major region team.
Fair enough. All right. Well, to die for, if you don't want to talk too much about the future matches, I do have one final question about the grand finals that you just played. There were a lot of clutch moments just in the games where you had that quick ascent to the lead. Sweaty had that pass from the sidewall to you striking in the midfield, and then you were teeing up Sweaty later in the series. Do you find that you're working a lot more smoothly with the team as the season goes, or how do you guys get to a point of that synergy? Is it the comms, is it the play styles, the strategies beforehand? What, in your opinion, for Limitless works the best?
I mean, I think comms is definitely one of the biggest aspects because, like, obviously, making life easy for everyone else if you're living in the position, etc. But I think also we just like good friends, so we have good chemistry. So yeah.
That always helps.
All right, to die for. Well, congratulations. Limitless now winning 11 out of 12 regionals. So that's 11-time champions as Limitless, never mind what came before that. So massive performance. Congratulations to you. And of course, you know we will all be rooting for you at the major. And good luck with all the chaos that's going to happen now over the next couple of 2 to 3 weeks to get you there and get yourselves ready. But this entire region is right behind you and rooting for you. So thank you. Well done. And we will see you very soon.
Thank you. Always appreciate the sport. Thank you for having me.
No worries, mate. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. And there, the not so overly verbose to die for, giving us his view of things. But it's been interesting to me. I interviewed to die for. I did a little thing with him when I was doing a series on SSA Rocket League players. And that was 2 years ago, I think, just a little over 2 years ago. And to see the maturity as him as a person, he's clearly quite focused now, Muckfish, on his job, what they need to do in terms of the Rocket League competitive experience.
Well, as I said, it's the entire squad of Limitless. Every time they do have an interview, Snowy was Snowy last time. Now it's to die for. They just have that air of professionality and professionalism around them, and you could see it in the answers. He's trying to not say too much, but also be a bit coy with things, saying, "Oh, maybe we can take a game out of, or maybe even a series out of an EU team that is underperformed, maybe EU4." But realistically, of course, OCE and APAC probably the two regions that Limitless look for to snipe in Copenhagen. And you know what? I'm going to be there. I'm going to be rooting them on in Copenhagen.
Fantastic. And I mean, what a time. I mean, it seems like just a couple of weeks ago, we were complaining about the excessively long off season after the end of last season's RLCS. And now, bang, here we are, the end of the first split. And now we're going to complain again because we got like 5 or 6 weeks off until split 2 starts. But there'll be a lot to think about, and I'm sure roster mania to go through. But Pyro, sum it all up for us from your perspective.
Oh, sum it all up. Yeah, sounds good, Greybeard. Well, Limitless.
How long do you have?
No, here's the thing. You know, we talked about this. The version of the best of SSA is such a unique flavor in RLCS 2024. And Mocked, you mentioned it, Snowy and Limitless, they've asked for challenges all throughout these seasons. Well, they got it. You know, it's a unique challenge playing against all these teams. It's not unique in the fact that they don't know how to play on high ping. They have a lot of experience there playing in other regions, but now it's kind of flip-flopped. And now they have to win against a variety of teams, players, play styles, etc. This only builds the beast to be stronger, and I cannot wait to see what they do bring to the international stage.
Macht.
Well, SSA did an SSA. It's the smallest region. It's somehow garnered the biggest drama and the biggest hype around it. This was quintessential SSA, and of course, in the end, a team captained by Snowy winning it all. That's just the most SSA way to do SSA things. That, you know, what's the one thing that just sprung back to my mind now is that finally, SSA, we can say, oh no, we're not back in 6 weeks with like Major 2, Open Qualifier number 4. No, we're gonna have a team playing at the Major. Can we quickly appreciate, as I ruin my camera, how amazing that is?
Absolutely. I mean, it is remarkable. We're in a main event, and whatever's gone on, that is the reality. SSA, we are a permanent fixture of the global RLCS community, and all of the drama, all of the chaos, all of the everything has, I believe, is even more firmly entrenching us into that community, and it's fantastic. And what's great, coming off such a low bar and being isolated for so long, there is so far that we can go. There is so much potential for us, and now and not just and Limitless are carving the way. The time of Limitless is going to come, or the time of Snowy, the time of To Die For. Though that time will come to an end, but we got to bring this massive, this groundswell of new players and the player base to come behind and support it. And I do see it emerging, and it's incredibly exciting. So there we go. With that, we are at the end of the final qualifier for this split. I believe the next one starts mid to late April, and then we'll be back with all the madness and chaos once again. And then, as I always do, massive shout out to ACGL for their continued and massive support for Rocket League, for our region. And the guys pushing the buttons is Blank and Reggie, and then of course all the talent, you guys who come back again and again. Pyro shoveling coffee down his throat so he can be camera ready and get going because it's early morning for him, and all the guys who just come again and again and again to support this region. And I think we're getting more and more fans globally. Once they're here, they fall in love with us, and there's more and more of that, and we do see it all around. So thank you to all, and of course the admins who've had a particularly trying weekend. As we all know, they do a magnificent job. But and now I'm just rambling because I don't want this to end. It happens every time, but we have to now bring it to an end. This has been SSA Rocket League. It's been SSA RLCS. It has been a delight to be a part of it, to help bring it to everybody. So to everyone watching, your continued support, everyone who makes it happen, thank you very much. But for now, for just a few weeks, we hope we will be back. But until then, peace!